Championship. Will it be the Martinsburg Bulldogs, the Musselman Applemen, the Capital Cougars, or the Spring Valley Timberwolves? We'll hopefully know over the course of the next few hours. For Talk Radio WRNR Sports, I'm Matt Miller. By my side is Vic Holmes. Filling in for Jason Colrick on the sideline, we'll have Brian Potts. Chip Rittenhouse is our TV10 cameraman. Back at the studio, it's Caleb Falero, and Matt Crawford is running our TV10 broadcast today. Well, glad to have everybody along on this Black Friday in Martinsburg, certainly hoping that it is a Black Friday as they have worn the all-black uniforms with the orange lettering and white trim. As Vic, they look to get back to that state championship game for a third consecutive year, an 11th time overall, and a 7th time in the last 9 years.
Well, I'll tell you, today is definitely football weather. Cold, windy, brisk out there. But, you know, it's that time of the year. I mean, I don't know what else to expect. If we were 75, 80 degrees, I'd probably be scared out here. But this is a big one. Yes, this is a big game, and I know a lot of people are looking at it from the standpoint of a 70-0 game in the regular season, Martinsburg and Musselman, but that has nothing to do with today. There are a lot of conditions that are totally different from what the situation was when those two teams played during the regular season. We're talking about conditions are different. Both teams have seen each other. They've now had an opportunity to experience each other. So now it's time to make some adjustments, some changes, and try to do what you think is best is going to be able to contain the other football team.
Well, Martinsburg coming in undefeated, 12-0. They are the #1 team in Class AAA. And when you look at what they've done in this postseason, a 35-0 victory against Hurricane 2 weeks ago to open things up. And last weekend in the quarterfinals, a 49-20 victory here at home against Parkersburg. Meanwhile, for Musselman, they come in as the #4 seed, 11 wins and just 1 loss this season. And in the playoffs, they have been outstanding, defeating John Marshall in round 1, 60-14. And last weekend, playing at a neutral site up at Spring Mills High, they knocked off the Ripley Vikings 52-7. This team, since that loss against Martinsburg, Vic, really coming into their own as Musselman comes in playing good football.
Yeah, this is a better football team than what we saw when they played, and Martinsburg won that ball game. Martinsburg basically just came out and just jumped right on them. Musselman didn't have an opportunity to make a mistake or even falter a little bit. Martinsburg seemed to capitalize on everything that they did wrong and also some of the things they did right. I mean, a lot of times they were there, could not make the tackle or got outrun on certain situations. So I think it's going to be an interesting task here for Musselman to see how they're able to not necessarily stop Martinsburg, but to control Martinsburg. I think it's a big play on words there, stopping and control. They're not going to stop them. They're going to have to try to control them as much as possible.
Yeah, this is a Martinsburg team that is averaging 55 points a game, and when you look back through the entire season, their lowest point output was the opening round of the playoffs when Hurricane held them to just 35 points. So as you said, not a team that you're necessarily going to stop, but we'll see if Musselman can find a way to control them. Meanwhile, for the Applemen, they've got to find a way to get points on the board. They're averaging 41 points a game, and here in the playoffs have scored no fewer than 52, but they're going up against a very good Martinsburg defense here today that, Vic, when I looked at the numbers earlier, has actually played slightly better than last year, and that's hard to believe.
It really is. It's hard to believe, and I think sometimes you equate a little bit of that to the opponents that you've played, but you know, if you take a look at the scores and the teams they played last year, there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, you look at last year's score, you had a Sharando football game which went down to the wire. It went down to the wire this year. Other than that, you really didn't have a real close game last year. I think you have to look at the game in Philadelphia as being a pretty close game, a well-fought football game by both teams. But other than that, Martinsburg just blew everybody else out. So statistically, this team defensively is better than last year's.
Well, Martinsburg on the field going through their warm-ups while Musselman just has their place kicker out there right now. They'll be coming up to the field momentarily. Down on the sidelines, we've got Brian Potts, who's filling in today for Jason Colrick. And let's check in with Brian right now and see exactly what the conditions are like.
Well, Matt and Vic, it's a little breezy down here this morning, and right now it's probably about 33 degrees, and we're getting some wind, I guess, from east to northeast to west winds, and crowd's starting to come in here, and we're looking for a very good ball game. And it's really nice to have, out of the top 4 teams left, 2 of them from the Eastern Panhandle. So it really says a lot here about, the football that's come about here in the last couple of years here in the Eastern Panhandle.
Hey, Brian, before you turn that mic off, give us an idea of the wind down there as we look around and even feel a little of that breeze blowing into the press box. What's it like at field level?
You're getting some gusts down here, and it's right chilly, so you see everybody bundled up. And here on the Bulldog side, once that sun goes down on this press box side, it really gets chilly. But we're getting some gusts. It looks like probably about 10 miles an hour.
All right, we'll see how that impacts the game. Brian, thank you. Brian Potts on the sideline filling in for Jason Colrick on this Friday afternoon. Our pregame show brought to you by W. Harley Miller Systems, providing custom integration services for home and office automation, home theater, networking, audio-video distribution, and more. Find them online at WHMsystems.com or phone 304-350-1931. We'll take a 1-minute timeout and then come back to Coburn Field. Vic and I will have our check of the playoff schedule as we look around single A, double A, and triple A on this semifinal weekend. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV 10.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
W Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources. Certainly has helped take us to another level.
We welcome you back once again to Coburn Field. Time now for our check of the playoff schedule as we continue with the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. Vic, let's start in single A and work our way up to triple A. In single A, both of the semifinals will take place tonight. I can only imagine how cold it's going to be when those games kick off at 7:30 around the Mountain State. One of those will be in the Northern Panhandle as the top seed Wheeling Central Catholic will take on the 4 seed in Doddridge County. Interesting enough, Doddridge County is 12-0, but the 4 seed, while the Maroon Knights are 11-1 and got the top seed. That shows you that strength of schedule and how the point system works.
Yeah, and that's a big difference there. The points, depending upon the classifications that you play. Obviously, as a double A, they've probably played 1 or maybe 2 single A schools that and they're undefeated, but they're did not wasn't even the first in the top 2, so it makes it kind of tough. But that's just the way it is. A lot of times, why are they playing single A schools? A lot of times, just proximity, as far as schools that are close to you and not having to travel and that sort of thing. I don't think they're going to win. I just think. It's a situation where I think the teams that they've played, I think, has given them a little bit of advantage there.
Doddridge County has played well defensively. 6 shutouts in their 12 games this season. That defense will be tested, though, by the Maroon Knights, who in their 2 playoff games beat Tyler Consolidated 61-30 and put 40 points on the board in a 40-19 win against Magnolia. Wheeling Central is the defending single A state champions. In the other semifinal, it's the 6 seed Williamstown Yellow Jackets at 10-2 playing at the 2 seed Midland Trail. The Patriots are 12-0. Williamstown last won the state championship in 2014, and they have reached the semifinals by upsetting the 3 seed Mountain View last weekend, 23-12. Meanwhile, Midland Trail has won a couple of tight ball games. They defeated the 15 seed Tucker County 14-2. Giving up only a 2-run home run or a safety, however that works. And then number 7, Sherman, 20-14. So Midland Trail's kind of been battle-tested going into this one.
Yeah, and that's going to be really good. I think when you're battle-tested, you're going into this type of ball game, a semifinal. all that works in your favor. I think they're going to pull the upset myself.
Midland Trail, very good defensively. The 20 points they have only, I should say, allowed 20 points in one game this season. Outside of that, have not given up 20 or more other than that one time. In 7 games, they've allowed 1 touchdown or less. We'll see if that Midland Trail defense can get the job done. Again, Single A semifinals tonight, kicking off at 7:30. AA games, there is one game going on this afternoon. The other will be the lone Saturday game. Tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, it'll be Fairmont Senior entertaining Weir. The Red Raiders are the, I guess you'd call it, lowest seed or highest seed remaining, depending on which way you look at it. They're number 12 in Class AA. They upset Polka 41-14, and last weekend upset number 4 Nicholas County. Get this score, 63-43. So Weir's got to be feeling good about themselves coming into this one.
Yeah, they are, and they've been down for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, like several of the other schools, Weir used to be a AAA school, dropped down in the AA class. It's been tough adjustment for them, but they've put a lot of points on the board. It's going to be interesting. I think, again, a lot of these ball games, I think, were predicated on the WVU ball game, which, this is why you have Saturday afternoon ball games and so forth instead of, and I don't think there's, one Friday night ball game, I think, on the schedule?
Let's see, 3 Friday night games.
3 Friday nights.
The 2 single A's and 1 in AA. Hey, Fairmont Seniors 12-0 on the season, and the Polar Bears do have a win against Weir. That was all the way back on October 5th. They knocked off the Red Riders 43-13, and of course Fairmont Senior hoping to get back to the championship game where they might win it this year. They've been the runner-up back-to-back years. The other side of the AA semi has number 3 Bridgeport at number 2 Bluefield. Bluefield is the defending state champions, while Bridgeport won 3 in a row. 2013, 14, and 15 have not won it over the last 2 years, but these are 2 programs that are synonymous with AA state championships.
Most certainly. You're usually going to find those 2 teams usually in the semifinals, if not the finals, and sometimes even going against each other in the finals. 2 of the better and stronger AA programs in the state.
Bridgeport has won 8 in a row coming in. Bluefield has won 5 in a row as both teams are 11-1, and that game is going on this afternoon at 1:30. All right, that leads us to Class AAA, where Capital is at Spring Valley, also going on today at 1:30. So we're hoping to keep you up with some scores from that one, as the winner of that one meets our winner between Musselman and Martinsburg in the state championship. Capital is 11-1 and winners of 6 in a row since their only loss, that, by the way, came against Spring Valley. That was back on September 28th. 21-13 was the final. Spring Valley, with that victory, able to then go on to an undefeated season. They're 12-0 coming in.
Now that's going to be an interesting contest. Again, the only loss in that ball game in between those 2 teams, of course, was early in September. So I think over the course of that period of time, that the next 9 ball games, a lot of things have happened. Well, more than 9 ball games actually, but a lot of things have happened. But I really, truly think that that's going to be a toss-up. Even though Spring Valley is probably the favorite and is expected to be in the finals, and not letting cat out of the bag, another Spring Valley Martinsburg final in Wheeling. I don't know. I really think that there's a possibility that we may have an upset there. That is a possibility.
Capital has last reached the state championship in 2015. They were a runner-up to Wheeling Park. They won it all in 2014, beating South Charleston. Spring Valley has been to the championship game each of the last 2 years, dropping both of those contests against Martinsburg. Will it be a third time for the Bulldogs and the Timberwolves at Wheeling Island Stadium, or will we have upsets? Well, we'll find out as our afternoon goes along. That is our check of the playoff schedule, and that is brought to you by Kelly Allstate Insurance, a full-line insurance agency on Lakeview Drive near the intersection of Rockcliffe Drive in Martinsburg. Again, that's 724 Lakeview Drive, phone 304-263-4596 for Kelly Allstate Insurance. Well, when we return on our W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show, we'll talk with the Martinsburg defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator as we go into the coordinator's corner. You're listening to West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and watching on TV 10.
It's one of the toughest times you'll ever face when someone close to you passes away. It's a swirl of papers to sign and arrangements to be made, all while you're dealing with grief. At Brown Funeral Home, we encourage you to pre-plan. Pre-planning not only makes things easier for you, it protects you from rising costs. At Brown Funeral Home, our families are precious to us, and so are yours. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
Systems pregame show. Time now for our Coordinator's Corner, a service of the Marius Group and Ameriprise Financial Advisors, John Everson and Phil McCoy. Call Ameriprise Financial Services at 304-263-4343 or stop by 1270 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. The Dogs coming off of a 49-20 victory against Parkersburg in the quarterfinal round. Let's start our conversation with defensive coordinator Buddy Hessen.
I thought we played well. Parkersburg made some plays in the pass game. The Strange kid made some pretty good catches. I think he had a little help, but we gave a big one. We're right there in coverage, and our kid just doesn't look up and to make a play and the ball ends up falling down. They get their third score. But I thought for the most part we played pretty well.
How much of what they were able to do in that passing game was the fact that Jake Johnson could do what he did at quarterback?
That kid really impressed me. Watching him on film, he didn't get rattled. He did a good job, escaping pressure. And while he's doing that, still looking downfield. Plus, his receivers saw once he started scrambling, they would run to get themselves open, and they got us a few times, and my hat's off to them.
You get the victory, and now a semifinal matchup with Musselman. What's the challenge facing a team for a second time, especially when you didn't allow any points against them the first time?
Well, I told the kids yesterday, that was 3 weeks ago. They're a different team from and we're not the same team 3 weeks ago. Hopefully we're better. And, you got to put that game, out of your minds. This is the semifinals, one win away from playing for a state championship. So, you can throw that game out the window because I'm sure they're going to be ready to play.
They certainly seem to be playing their best offensive football right now when you look at the scores through the first two playoff games. So what do you take out of that first matchup as compared to maybe what you take out of the two playoff games?
Well, they haven't really changed much. They do what they do, just like we do what we do. And, again, we got to be aware where Hartman is every snap, and we got to make sure we keep Beard contained. And just like I said, the first game, and it's tough when you're dealing with high school kids. Coach, we're being 7-0. It doesn't matter. So we just got to show up and be ready to go, and I think we'll be okay.
Let's now turn to special teams coordinator Britt Sherman.
I thought we did really well. Kick coverage was good. Ricky Barrett got to another punt. Really proud of Michael Boite at the end of the game. Kind of out of reach and still made a lot of effort to block an extra point. Seeing seniors and guys like that really giving that effort, it's really nice. And, they see why they are where they are.
You did have to punt the football. Talk to us about what you saw from Trey Sign in his punting.
Did a really good job holding onto the ball, not rushing it, but, I think we could have got it down the field a little bit more. I think he tried to place it a little bit, but, he's averaging, I think, high 30s, so he's doing a really good job with that. So, that's something that, getting to play tougher teams, we're definitely going to have to utilize.
What is it that you saw that maybe allowed Ricky Barrett to get to the punter and, frankly, hit him before he really got a chance to punt it?
Well, I thought we were getting to him earlier in the game in the first half, and I think we were just running past it. And I don't know whether it's, we just been out of it a couple weeks. We roughed a guy last week, but I just told him, I said, you just need to squeeze a little bit harder. And he was, he got there, like you said, before he even kicked it, just tackled him.
Consistent, very consistent in your extra points all season long and right through the playoffs. How big is that, especially this time of the year?
We had a little trouble with him at the beginning of the year, and we just talked about it's got to be automatic. And, Aaron Pearson does a really good job of snapping, and Trenton Sherman's been doing a good job holding here at the end of the year. And then Catlett just been, he has been pretty automatic. So hopefully that continues.
Talk to us about this matchup against Musselman, a team you've already seen. What do you see in their special forces and what you would like to do?
Well, have Blake Hartman, and they have him back on all the returns, and, he does a really good job, and you got to contain him. And, their kicker, he doesn't do a lot with kickoffs. They try to pop it up or squib it or, may kick it deep every once in a while. But, he does a pretty good job, kicked a long extra point last week. So, they're very capable.
How big a role can special teams play in a rematch like this?
I tell these guys all the time, when you start getting to the semis, the finals, and now we have a rematch in the semis, it's very important, and it gets more detailed every week. But, now that we've already seen them, they've seen us, maybe they've seen something they can try to get a fake on us here and there. So, you just have to be extra careful and make sure you're doing stuff correctly to execute.
Thanks to Martinsburg coaches Britt Sherman and Buddy Hessen joining us with our Coordinators Corner, brought to you by the Mirius Group and Ameriprise Financial Advisors Phil McCoy and John Everson. You can stop by the Ameriprise Financial Office at 1270 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg or phone 304-263-4343. Stay tuned for more of the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and TV 10.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Welcome back into the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. Time now to go in the end zone as we talk with Martinsburg head coach David Walker. The conversation brought to you by Parsons Ford at 1400 Shepherdstown Road in Martinsburg. Coach Walker and the Bulldogs coming off of a 49-20 win over Parkersburg in last week's quarterfinal round.
I thought we played physical. I thought we played fast, and I thought Parkersburg had a pretty good football team, so I thought that was a good challenge for us, a good win, and I like the way our kids, competed for 4 quarters.
Were you pleased with the way that your offensive line was able to block and create opportunities offensively, maybe a little more in this one than in week 1 of the playoffs?
Yeah, I thought we played pretty well up front. We still made some mistakes here and there, but, having Dwayne back was huge for us, and then running the ball. And I thought both quarterbacks, threw the ball well and, had a good day there as well.
You talk about Dwayne running the ball well, a 69-yard touchdown, first time he touches it in 6 weeks. Tell us about that play.
It was just an outside trap. We had actually checked to it. I think we had something else called and we checked, and because we liked what we saw of what they were doing defensively. And, of course, Dwayne, the offensive line did a nice job, and Dwayne just got up in there and was gone.
How good was it to see him be able to, have the speed, outrun everybody, and be able to get down the field coming back from the injury?
Yeah, I was really happy for him. I know he was ecstatic, and I know it's been tough on him this season. So to get him back out there and have him moving around, he did a little bit in first round, but this was where we were pretty much just, he was back to his old self. So it was pretty good to see.
Pretty mixed again in what you were able to do throwing the football and running the football. Are you seeing the balance you want to see from your offense during the playoffs?
Yeah, for the most part. We want to try to distribute the ball to different guys and make everybody defend everybody that we have. And we feel like we're doing a pretty good job of that. We saw some things where we were able to actually throw the ball to Naeem a little bit, which we don't do a lot of passing to our running backs. And, I thought our receiving core did a pretty good job, and the quarterbacks, threw some nice balls.
Back to the semifinals one more time. How do you see the focus of your team either staying the same or the intensity level even picking up each week here of the postseason?
I thought last week was better than the first week. This week, yesterday we had a pretty good practice. It was cold, but you worry about complacency because we're playing a team that we beat, really lopsided 3-4 weeks ago. So you try to guard against complacency, but I think our guys will be ready to play and ready to practice. They know what's at stake.
How much do you take out of that game almost a month ago, or how much do you kind of push that aside and go, guys, we got to pretend that didn't even happen?
Well, I don't think you can pretend it didn't happen. I think you have to look at some of the things, and then we've went back and looked at it a little bit, and we've watched their 2 playoff games, but we're preparing for them to do something different than what they did against us the first time, on both sides of the ball. So I think at this time of year, especially playing them, I'm more concerned about, and you've heard me say this before, I'm more worried about, I'm focused more on us, making sure we're prepared and doing the things we do, and then we'll make adjustments as we need to Friday as the game goes on.
With all of that in mind, how well do you feel that you are, playing your game?
I think we have evolved a little bit throughout the course of the year. I think we started with a basic philosophy, and I think we have kind of evolved, and then we try to go back to more of our core basic stuff that we do offensively and defensively. But the bottom line is your kids have to be able to adapt to what they're seeing. So, and we feel like we're doing a pretty good job, and I think our kids are playing pretty well right now.
You talk about adapting. Here you go with another day game, but it's a Friday now. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Only the second time that it's been done, and you were involved in that one against George Washington, back in 2012. How challenging is it, or is it any more challenging to get ready to play on Friday afternoon?
I don't think it's any more challenging. The last 2 weeks we played on Saturday, give us an extra day, but like I say, we're familiar with Musselman, so I don't feel like we need an extra day to prepare for them. It's no different. I kind of like it because that way we've got, you've got if we win, you've got the weekend, you've got a day, you can start preparing sooner for who you're going to play. And then, of course, if you lose, then, your season's over with a day sooner. So either way, it's probably an okay thing.
And that is Martinsburg head coach David Walker from In the End Zone. Our conversation brought to you by Parsons Ford at 1400 Shepherdstown Road, Martinsburg. In the market for a new or used vehicle, check out their great selection online at ParsonsFordOfMartinsburg.com. We became number one by making you number one first. Parsons. Stay tuned for more of our pregame show brought to you by W. Harley Miller Systems. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and TV 10. You back to the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. Time now to go in the huddle as we hear from a pair of players from each team. We get it started with Martinsburg's Grant Harmon and Dwayne Grantham.
Dwayne, I got to start with you. How good did it feel to carry the football again and to have a 69-yard touchdown run the first time you touch it?
It felt great. It's just great being back out there with my team. I missed them. I know they missed me. And just being able to get back on the field with my guys and do that, my very first play, is exciting.
Grant, Grant, how good is it to have this guy in the backfield again?
It's something special, man. He's an amazing player. He showed it the past 3 years. I mean, even though we lost and we've had to give the rock to Naeem, I mean, Naeem's done a great job, but to have Dwayne back is just something special. He helps us offensively and defensively especially. I mean, to see him carry that ball down the field 69 yards from my first carry, it's just, I don't know, I got chills running down the field with him, so, I mean, it's something special.
How well do you feel like this offense is playing right now? Maybe stumbled in a few possessions in that playoff opener, but put up 49 points, really good effort against Parkersburg.
I think that we've played very well offensively all season. I mean, those mistakes that we've made are definitely mistakes that are fixable, and that's a good thing. I feel like if we come out and do what we're supposed to do, we put 70 points on Musselman the last time we played them, and I think that we're capable of doing that again if we're able to execute our plays.
Dwayne, you had some time to really watch what was going on with this offense from the sideline. Did that actually help you getting back out on the field?
Yeah, because I know we put in a couple different formations, a couple different plays, and I had to learn that mentally, not being able to be in practice with them physically. So, and I seen our offense been executing very well.
All right, you're also back out there playing linebacker defensively. How well is this defense playing?
It's playing very well. We've had 6 shutouts, going for 7 this week, and I just think we're capable of doing that.
Gave up some yards in the passing game, especially against Parkersburg. What was the challenge they presented?
Brenton Strange. It's just simple as that. I mean, he's the number 8 tight end in the nation for a reason. I mean, he knows how to use his body to create separation. Their quarterback did a good job of just getting the ball. But, I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, we held them 20 points, but we could have done better. So we got to make sure that our pass defense is top-notch this week because Trey Beard does a good job of throwing the ball. And especially if we win this week, we got to be lights out the next week, too.
You mentioned it earlier, Grant. Let me ask both of you. How do you put that first game kind of out of your mind when you beat a team the way that you did and now have to face them again?
Because they're capable of doing anything. You saw the scores of the last 2 games. They got some players that can play. So we got to come out here. We can't take them lightly. We got to practice good this week. The next 2 days have to be very good at practice, and we have to come out and execute on Friday.
Yeah, that's a very different Musselman team from 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. We really got to take them seriously. We can't play around. They've been having a great postseason, so we definitely got to pick up our game. I think they've gotten better, and I also think we've gotten better.
We now turn our attention to the Musselman Applemen as we hear from Trey Beard and Chris Reinhardt.
Talk to us about what you saw offensively to put 52 points up against Ripley.
Well, we went over in practice, like the defensive fronts, what would be best to what front. So me and Coach Thomas, we went over a lot of me, like putting us in the right place for like the defense. So, you know, spending time going over with him what I needed to do, what to check us into. It was big because I could change the play at the line. He gives me like the freedom to do that. So if I see something, you know, I know what to call. He's taught me well, so I can check us into the right play and we can move the ball a little bit.
All right, Chris, take us to the defensive side of the football. You held them to just 7. How'd you guys get it done?
We prepared a lot during the week. We watched tons of film. We knew coming into the game that their run game was pretty good, and to beat them, we would have to stop their run game. And so that's what we keyed on. We keyed on stopping the run and making them be uncomfortable and having to pass.
Trey, let's go back to this offense as a whole. 60 points and then 52 points in 2 playoff games. What has brought this offense to this point where you're kind of clicking at the right time?
Well, we've been clicking, you know, ever since that Martinsburg game. It was just like after that, it was like a big moment for us. If like we just lost by 70, so we got like it could break us. We could fold and we can fall off, or you know we can get better. Take more time to get better, beat ourselves every day, be the better man of who you are, and you know it's kind of happened. A little bit more film study, and we've picked out a lot of like things that we saw we were doing wrong, and we're able to fix them. So you know it's for the better now.
How about on that defensive side of the football, Chris? What has you guys going as hard as you are right now and making the stops you've been able to make?
Honestly, we're just a bunch of crazy dudes who want to come out and hit you. That's our goal for every week. We're just going to try to come out physical you.
Now I heard Coach, what was the nickname that he was using for you?
Crunch. That's my nickname.
And where does that come from?
I got it a long time ago, but I got that because I just hit hard.
Talk to us about scoring in this last game. How fun was that?
Oh, it was awesome. That was definitely one of the highlights of my year. Playing on the line on offense, I don't get the ball much, but definitely picking up that fumble, hitting my little spin move. It was awesome.
Guys, let me ask you both. It was a tough game against Martinsburg last time out. How much do you look forward to this opportunity?
I mean, it's a huge opportunity, getting beat by 70 and having everybody against us. Like, I mean, no one thinks we're going to win, but when you look across in the locker room, you see your guys, like, there's nobody else I'd want to go at this with. You know, like, I trust my guys. I believe, like, we're going to have the right mindset. That 70-point loss, like, that's behind behind us. We believe we're a better team now, a different team now. We're just, like you said, it's an opportunity. We're excited for it.
I think we've came together a lot since that game, and I think as a team we believe in each other and we believe we can win. Even if no one else believes in us, I think we can pull off an upset.
You're in the semifinals. You're practicing on Thanksgiving Day. How much fun is that?
That's awesome. That's been one of Coach Thomas's goals, I think, since he's been a head coach, and this is the first time he really gets to do that, and it's an honor being a senior.
Thanks to Trey Beard, Chris Reinhart, Grant Harmon, and Dwayne Grantham for joining us in the huddle. Stay tuned for more of our W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and TV 10.
When will I be able to
To see the inspirations of Miss Yu's tuxedo collection, look to the sky and stars. For the jewelry itself, come to Bechtel Jewelers for the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th. These playful pieces are a wonderland of sparkly blacks and whites, plus other festive colors. Gems like shimmering black druzy, onyx, and ice quartz adorn silver and gold. Enjoy sophisticated everyday elegance at the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th, and let your inner sparkle shine. Only at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
Back to us and should be about 6 seconds.
3, 2, 1, and you're on.
We welcome you back once again here to Coburn Field, where the Martinsburg Bulldogs take on the Musselman Applemen in the West Virginia State Class AAA semifinals on this Black Friday afternoon. This is a time slot that the WVSSAC put into place, about a decade ago or so, where they allowed teams to choose a Friday afternoon or Friday night, and then the Saturday afternoon or Saturday night remained on the schedule as well. Hasn't happened very often. In fact, this is only the second time in Class AAA, and the last time it happened was also right here at Coburn Field. George Washington came to town. You may remember a guy by the name of Ryan Switzer, now playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was on this field on that Black Friday afternoon, and well, Martinsburg got the win in that one. The Bulldogs hoping to do the same here today. For Talk Radio WRNR Sports, along with Vic Holmes, I'm Matt Miller. Brian Potts is on the sideline. He's filling in for Jason Colrick today. Matt Crawford running TV 10. Caleb Falero's at the studio, and Chip Rittenhouse is our TV 10 cameraman. Vic, let's begin to break down this Musselman Appleman team just a little bit. A team we mentioned earlier, averaging 41 points a game while giving up just 17 points a game. A team that comes in averaging 434 total yards per game, and they've been pretty balanced in getting it done. 257 on the ground, 177 through the air.
I think that 257 has got to be really, really big today. I think they've got to be in that neighborhood of 200-plus yards on the ground if they expect to win this football game today. I think it's very, very important. Last week we had, the weather conditions were really, really bad for both Martinsburg and also for Musselman in their ball games. But, the passing game is going to be a factor today in this one. But one of the things, I think we got some wind in the upper areas. In other words, you throw that deep pattern, you're going to have some problems. So I think the run game is going to be very, very important because ball control, I think, for Musselman is going to be one of their keys.
You mentioned that run game. When these two teams met back on October 27th, Martinsburg came away with that 70-0 victory and held Musselman to 90 rushing yards. And then once they shut down that attack, they took away the pass as well, just 10 passing yards for a total of 100 yards. Musselman also had 5 costly turnovers. They can't have that happen today.
Well, no question. They definitely cannot have that happen. One of the things that makes Martinsburg unique is the fact that they do so well in the back seven that they have, especially in that secondary, where they can man up on people and do a tremendous job. It's hard to throw against those guys. One of the things that people don't realize is that, as receivers, everybody, you hear about it on TV all the time about how fast receivers are, but that guy on the other side of him that's facing him is usually as fast as he is defensively. So you've got to have that type of person back there in the secondary who can cover that speed. And what Martinsburg has, their speed guys are receivers on offense and the defensive backs on defense. So therefore, when your defensive backs can outrun the other team's receivers or faster or quicker than they are, then you've got some problems throwing the football, and that's what Martinsburg has had this year. I think it's a tremendously, great scheme that they're using because of the fact they can deny people the football because of their defensive backs, and that puts a lot more pressure on and frees up some other people. Not only are you blocking 4 guys up front, you may be blocking 5, 6, possibly 7 guys because they can bring a lot of people at you because the receivers are covered.
Well, defensive coordinator Buddy Hessen of the Bulldogs has talked about that. He'll leave his guys out there on that island because he believes in their athleticism and the things that they can do, and that gives them that opportunity to kind of sell out to take away the run. Leading that ground game for Musselman, Blake Hartman, 1,305 yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. Trey Beard, the quarterback, dual threat. He's their second leading rusher, 102 carries, 745 yards and 14 touchdowns. And keep an eye on Sebastian Oldham as well, 92 carries, 616 yards and 4 scores. Beard throwing the football, completing 68% of his passes. He's had an outstanding senior year, taking over as the starting quarterback just this year. He's completed 109 of 160 passes, 1,988 yards, 25 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. He's done a great job of running this offense, protecting the football, and that has led to points. But this Musselman defense certainly going to have to rise to the occasion here today. Vic, they've given up only 17 points a game all season long, 13 a game if you can, take out that lopsided 70-0 game against Martinsburg. When you look at their scoring and what they've allowed, 7 times they've held an opponent to just 1 score, and 1 time they've had a shutout. So this defense has had a very strong year as well. They've got to come out and play today.
Yes, they do. They're really going to have to be outstanding today. They're going to have to make some plays. They're going to have to do some things that they haven't done all year long. They have to come up possibly with some turnovers as well, and hopefully for their sake to get some good field position in some given situations.
Well, let's check in one more time down on the sideline with Brian Potts. Says the field empty now. The 2 teams have made their way back into the locker rooms.
Well, Matt and Vic, the crowd's starting to settle in here a little bit now. We're still getting a little bit of a gust of a wind here. The flags still here on the home side are kind of straight out there, again, blowing northeast to the west. And I was listening to Vic there talking about the Musselman offense and defense there today. Everybody that plays Martinsburg always wants to play keep away, but on the same fact, they have to take it down there and score whenever they do that.
Yeah, that is the key. You can keep it away from the Bulldogs, but at some point you got to find a way to get into the end zone because this is a Bulldog team that will score points.
Yeah, running the clock against this team is good, but you've got to put the ball in the end zone because if you don't, you've run a lot of clock and now you're behind, and you're trying not to get beat too bad instead of trying to win, and then that's a real serious problem. You get behind against this team, you really can't panic. You just gotta score when you can and given opportunities when they present themselves. But at the same time, defensively, you really have got to slow them down, and how you do that yet to be seen because no one has really actually. They've been slowed, not necessarily to high gear, but maybe next to high gear. They have not been stopped all year long.
Well, Brian Thomas is in his 6th year leading this Musselman program after serving as an assistant for 6 years under prior head coach Denny Price. Coach Thomas' record, 44 wins, 21 losses, and has this program back in the playoffs for a 3rd consecutive season. We are going to hear from him coming up next as we continue on the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV 10.
Come to Berkeley County, West Virginia and enjoy the events, the history, outdoor adventures, farm-to-table dining. Just 90 minutes from Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Berkeley County, West Virginia provides small-town sensibility close to the big city. Visit TravelWV.com to find out more about all that Berkeley County has to offer.
even if they aren't going out of town.
We welcome you back to the W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show. Time now to hear from Musselman Appleman's sixth-year head coach Brian Thomas. His team coming off of a quarterfinal round matchup that had to be moved to Spring Mills due to the weather last Friday night. Musselman got the victory 52-7.
Yeah, I thought we were really, we're peaking at the right time. I thought our best game of the season was against John Marshall, just in all three aspects really coming together. But then I think, I really think we kind of outdid ourselves a little bit last week. I thought last week was our best game. We made plays in special teams. Offense, we made a lot of plays, and then defensively we played really, really, really great, I thought. But, just kind of putting all three phases together, I think it's really coming together. A lot of coaches say you want to be peaking at the right time, and I really think we are, so I think that's good for us.
How much has your schedule through the course of the regular season and some of the adversity you faced and the ways you've been able to win helped you through these first two playoff games?
Yeah, I think a lot. One of my assistant coaches said yesterday, he was sitting there, I think he was looking at the playoff manual, and he said, man, we've played a lot of playoff teams and beaten a lot of playoff teams, and we have. We've beaten, some really good teams. Hedgeville was a good ball club. Wheeling Park, Morgantown, all good teams. And we played those teams, and all three of those games were tough games, and all kind of had their own different story that went different ways. But I think that does help us. I think that really, I don't know if I want to say that more so helps us now, but I think at the time that those happened, I think those built us and made us stronger, which has helped us now, because now I think we're a better ball club because we faced that adversity there in the middle of the season.
What does it mean to you guys to be in the semifinals? First time for this storied program since 1999.
Yeah, I think it means a lot. It's just to see. We constantly preach to these young men. Work hard. Hard work will pay off, and I think they're really seeing that. I think the work that we put in. Yeah, I told them yesterday, football's such a grind, and we started this process. There's some kids that started lifting last December, and we're sitting here about a week away from December. I mean, it's crazy to even think that, but as a team, all the sports are done in June, and in June we really start to come together as a team. It's such a grind, but it means a lot for us just because we've put that work in since June, and then now we're sitting here in November, and we get to we're one of the 4 teams left in AAA. I think that's pretty special.
It now sets up a rematch with Martinsburg, and clearly that game did not go your way at the end of the regular season. How do you put that behind you and approach this one?
Really, we have nothing to lose. I mean, I told somebody today, if you get 100 probably sports writers or analysts or anybody in a room and say, hey, pick the winner of this game, probably one person will pick us, and the only guy that would pick us is probably the crazy guy that picks all the upsets, just because if he gets one right, he wants to say, I told you so. So, we don't have anything to lose. At the same time, we have a lot of respect for Martinsburg. I think anybody does, any AAA team does, just because, you look at what they've accomplished. That's what we want to get to. We want to win a state championship, but at the same time, we're not going to hold anything back. We're going to go in and we're going to play. We have a really confident group of kids, and we're going to play with a lot of confidence and a lot of pride. I mean, we've won 11 games, not by accident, but, at the same point, they did give us our low point, but hopefully we've learned from them and can move on from that and have a better result, hopefully, on Friday.
You mentioned learning from them. Are there things you can pull out of that game, or do you just kind of throw that game away as a whole?
Oh, I think there's definitely things you can pull out from that. More, not even talking schematically, but more so, going back there, that was kind of, like I said, that was our low point. That was the low point, because that's our one loss. But I told the kids after that game, that game could have tore us apart and ruined our season. It really could have. And a couple years ago when we were the 3 seed, that almost, I kind of think that happened a little bit. We went to Martinsburg when these guys were sophomores, and we lost, and we kind of never recovered from it, and these guys really recovered from it. So I don't know, sitting back, it's really not that long ago, but then again, it does seem like that long ago for me, just because we've, even from that point, we've continued to grow up as a football team, and have continued to kind of take that next step, and we learned from that loss, and we got better from that loss. So that's a good thing for me as a coach.
And that is Musselman Appleman head coach Brian Thomas. We'll continue to preview today's state class AAA semifinal showdown between Musselman and Martinsburg on our W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show after this brief timeout. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and TV 10.
It's It's one of the toughest times you'll ever face. When someone close to you passes away, it's a swirl of papers to sign and arrangements to be made, all while you're dealing with grief. At Brown Funeral Home, we encourage you to pre-plan. Pre-planning not only makes things easier for you, it protects you from rising costs. At Brown Funeral Home, our families are precious to us, and so are yours. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
Well, we are going to welcome you back into Coburn Field. Vic Holmes, Matt Miller with you. Down on the sideline, Brian Potts. Back at the studio, Caleb Falero, our engineer, Matt Crawford running TV10, and Chip Rittenhouse, our TV10 cameraman. We continue on our W. Harley Miller Systems pregame show as the Junior ROTC coming to the center of the field presenting the colors, and we are waiting for the national anthem here. As we do, Vic, let's take a little bit of a look at the Martinsburg Bulldogs. This is a team coming in averaging 55 points a game while giving up just 8 a game, and a team that averages 459 yards a game while giving up only about 150 yards a game. It has been incredible what this team has been able to accomplish. We are pausing now for the national anthem. I'm assuming that that is going to be played by the PA, as we have a portion of our two bands here, but the bands are not out on the field, not yet ready to play the anthem. So let's pause and see what we will have. If you're watching on TV10, you can see the Junior ROTC presenting the colors. Pausing for our national anthem. See that breeze blowing as the flags are moving towards the near sideline as that wind blows across the field. Junior ROTC now working their way off the field. Apparently some issues with the pre-recording of our national anthem. So, Vic, let's go ahead and jump into our keys to the game. They are brought to you by Luttrell LC. Let Chris Luttrell hand you the keys to your new home. For all of your real estate legal needs, call Luttrell LC at 304-267-3050. Well, we now hear the national anthem in the background, so let's pause and then get back to our keys to the game in a moment. For a look at our starting lineups, but first our keys to the game. Again, a service of Luttrell LC. For all of your real estate legal needs, call Luttrell LC 304-267-3050. Vic, let's start with Musselman.
Matt, there's several things I think Musselman has to do to win the ball game. Number one, they have to run the ball efficiently today. And when I say run the football, they have to run it at 3 downs, punt it out. I think it's going to be a long day for them. They're going to have to run it consistently and get the ball into the end zone, or at least get a field goal, get some points out of some of their situations. Secondly, obviously they cannot turn it over. They had a bucket full of turnovers the first time these two teams played, and which really took Musselman out of the ball game. Another thing is, I think they have to understand that they can't go out and have third and long situations. That is a problem. They're not a big play type of team that's going to get them out of that 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12 or longer. That's a problem. And the last thing is, defensively, they have to try to not stop but control the big plays. In other words, when Martinsburg makes a big play, a big run or whatever, it can't be 30, 40, 50 plus yards for a touchdown. They've got to be able to make tackles. Even if he makes a big gain, they can't let him run into the end zone.
All right, let's turn it to the Martinsburg Bulldogs. Keys for them.
Well, number one, as I usually say, Martinsburg just has to be Martinsburg. They have to play under control. I think it's one of the problems you might have in a ball game like this, winning 70-0 the previous time the two teams played, is one team just comes out and just say, we're going to do it again. We're going to just run you over. They have to play within themselves. Secondly, they have to learn be prepared for any what we call trick plays. You know, the halfback pass and onside kicks and those types of things. And the third thing is they have to do take what they give you. Musselman's going to give you certain things because they want to take other things away, and it's a give and take type thing. And David Walker's very good with that. We saw that last week. Take what they give you and just move the ball down the field. Just periodically go over top, maybe with the long throws, but take what they give you.
There you go. Keys to the Game, a service of Chris Luttrell at Luttrell LC, locally owned. They know the business and they're part of the community. You can win every time when it comes to your real estate legal needs. Just call Luttrell LC at 304-267-3050. We've got a 2-minute timeout to take, and when we come back, we'll have the starting lineups, the opening kick, and the play-by-play of West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV 10.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Number 7, Cello Tenovall. Number 16, Michael Boite.
The following sports special is a broadcast presentation of Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg.
Dear Lord, the battles go through life.
Dear Lord, the battles go through life.
We ask for a chance is fair.
We ask for a chance is fair.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to equal our stripes.
Chance to do it there.
Chance to do it there.
We should win.
We should win.
Let it be by the code.
Let it be by the code.
Faith and honor held high.
Faith and honor held high.
We should lose.
We should lose.
Stand by the road.
Stand by the road.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Cheers, the winners go by.
Day by day.
Day by day.
We get better and better.
We get better and better.
So we can't beat.
We can't beat.
Won't beat.
Who let the dogs out? It's time for the excitement of West Virginia high school football, featuring the AAA Martinsburg Bulldogs. To get you ready for today's play-by-play action, we'll bring you interviews, in-depth analysis, and important game information on the pregame show. So let's get things started by going to the stadium and join our Talk Radio WRNR broadcast team.
We welcome you back into Coburn Field, where the Martinsburg Bulldogs have won the coin toss, but they have elected to kick off. They'll have the defense out there to set the tone. Chris Catlett puts it on the tee at the 42-hour right and gets away a high end-over-end kick. Blake Hartman comes up to take it along the near side numbers at the 13, gets to the 20 and the 25, out to the 30, has an open field across the 40 to the midfield stripe, cutting back to the near side numbers to the 35 and the 30, and gets grabbed and taken down by, it looks like, Naeem Kearney on special teams, but not until the Martinsburg 21-yard line.
Great opening there from Musselman. That simply, I think we watched which is right in front of us, we watched a couple of the Martinsburg players run around blocks. And one thing you don't do on kickoffs and punts, you do not run around blocks. You run through them. If you get hit, then fine. You've covered your territory. If you run around blocks, you create a space, and that's what happened on that return.
66 yards on that kick return, and from the Bulldog 21, 1st and 10 for Musselman. Trey Beard going to take the shotgun snap. He's going to run it off the left side of the line, works his way down inside the 20, and they'll mark him down at about the 19-yard line. Gain of a couple for Trey Beard. The starting lineups brought to you by D&N Auto Specialist. If your vehicle is not starting properly, start at D&N to get it fixed right the first time. Family owned and operated since 1974. Phone 304-267-4078. That gain was good for a couple. 2nd down and 8 now from the Bulldog 19. Beard again going to keep it, this time off the right side of the line. Pardon me, he did hand it off. That's Blake Hartman on the carry. Hartman is going to pick up maybe a yard, mark him down to the 18-yard line. 3rd down and 7 coming for Musselman. We mentioned Trey Beard is the quarterback. Sebastian Odom and Blake Hartman are running backs. Kagan Teets and Devon Shade are wide receivers. Ethan Wilson, the tight end. Adam Taylor and Gerald Butler are tackles. Chris Reinhardt, Scott Murray are guards. And Ethan Northcraft, the starting center. On 3rd down and 7. Beard with a single set behind him, takes that snap, hands it off. Sebastian Odom straight ahead running, no place to go. The interior of that Bulldog defensive line really bottling things up. Ty Lucas, the nose guard, helping to lead the way. Make it a gain of another yard down to the 17, and it brings up a 4th and 6.
Also, Matt Benarski on the tackle there. They just simply stuffed the offensive line of Musselman. Big 4th down play here early in the football game. 4th down, and we'll call it a long 6.
3 receivers out to the wide side left. Odom behind the quarterback as Beard takes the shotgun snap. Looks to that far side, throws that slant. Ethan Wilson with the catch, gets down to the 6-yard line, and that'll be good for the 1st down. Michael Boite on the coverage, able to bring him down immediately, but that gain is good for the 1st.
That's just a real nice throw that time. He got it right where he needed to, and a good slant route. So Musselman, again, being efficient with what they're doing. They ran the football, wasn't able to pick it up on 3 downs, but a good throw here on 4th down to pick up the 1st down. So it's 1st and goal.
Gain of 11, 1st down, goal to go from the 6. Beard awaits that shotgun snap. He's got it, wants to keep it off the right side, ran right into the back of one of his players who had come in motion. That was Kagan Teets, a wideout, who got shoved right back into the backfield, and Beard eventually corralled, and they'll mark his progress. It looks like at about the 7, so minus a yard. So the Dogs doing what they like to do, and that is stop a team from running the football, as so far Musselman has not had much success on the run. 2 carries for 1 yard for Beard. 2nd and goal from the 7. Odom behind the quarterback, and hang on, we've got a penalty marker down from the far side, and we'll have offside Martinsburg, as apparently someone lined up in the neutral zone. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, or in this case, it looks like half the distance to the goal, as they will move it down to about the 3. So plus 3 yards on the first penalty called in the ball game, and it goes against the Bulldogs. 2nd and goal to go from right around the 3. Man in motion near side, that's Hartman. Beard taking a shotgun snap, running to his left, able to get around the tackle. Looks like he lost the football inside the 2-yard line at about the 1, and let's wait and see who's got it.
I think Musselman got it back around about the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Musselman was able to get it back, and I believe on that recovery was Ethan Northcraft, the 6'3 sophomore center, who was able to recover that one at the 1. So the gain good for about 2 yards for Beard, and it will bring up a 3rd down and goal to go. With that ball actually inside the 1-yard line. Empty backfield as Beard awaits the snap, brings Hartman in motion near side. Beard going to keep it and will not get the 1st down. Getting through an opening at the line of scrimmage, and then meeting him in the backfield was the Bulldog linebacker Ricky Barrett. Barrett will make the stop at the 1. It's 4th and goal.
Oh, good job by Ricky Barrett shooting the gap. And one of the things I've noticed here, Matt, here in this first series by Musselman, I didn't see in the previous 3 times that we saw Musselman this year, taking some really wide gaps up there between the center, guard, and tackle. Usually about a 2-foot gap. Now they've got about at least a 3-foot gap there. Martinsburg been shooting the gap, getting into the backfield.
4th down, goal to go from the 1. Blake Hartman in there now. He's going to take the direct snap, but first, head coach Brian Thomas calls for a timeout. Musselman wants a chance to talk about it. While they do, let's quickly go through the rest of our starting lineups. We mentioned that offense for Musselman, defensively for Martinsburg. Matt Bednarski and Asa Creamer-Gaskins are ends with Ty Lucas as the nose guard. Anthony Smith and Nathan Schweinbrotten outside linebackers. Ricky Barrett, Aaron Pearson, and Trey Sign on the inside. Teddy Marshall and Michael Boite are corners, and Grant Harmon the starting free safety. When the Bulldogs get the football, Grant Harmon will start at quarterback. He'll be joined by Dwayne Grantham in the backfield. Cello Teneval, Michael Boite, Matt Van Duser, and Gerard Bowie are the wideouts. Matt Bednarski and Brandon Moran are tackles. Michael Cullenegg and Ty Lucas are guards. A.J. Brenniger is the center. Meanwhile, defensively for Musselman, it'll be Ethan Wilson and Davon Shade as ends. Nate Cole and Adam Taylor are defensive tackles. Chris Reinhardt and Sebastian Odom are linebackers. Corners, Caleb Harding and Trevin Carter. The free safety, Ethan Walker, and defensive backs or safeties are Blake Hartman and Ben Bartles. Lineups brought to you by D&N Auto Specialist. Phone 304-267-4078. 4th down, goal to go from inside the 1, out of the timeout. There's the snap. They fake the handoff. They dump a pass off, knocked away and incomplete. Beard faked the handoff inside, then tried to dump a short pass on this right side to Ethan Wilson, but it was the linebacker, Dwayne Grantham, just back from injury a week ago, who leaped into the air and knocked down the pass. It's incomplete.
Well, not everybody makes that play. It looked really simple there, knocking that pass down, whatever, but not too many players make that play in high school, and that's an exceptional player making an exceptional play. So Musselman comes up short. They get out to the half-yard line and not able to get it in.
7:25 remaining here in our opening quarter. 1st down, Martinsburg from their own 1-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Harmon will await the snap. He's got Grantham to his left side. There is that snap. Harmon, quick throw, and it gets knocked away by Chris Reinhardt, trying to get it to the slot receiver on this left side. That's Matt Van Duser, and Reinhardt from his linebacker position read that one and stepped into the passing lane.
Yes, he did. Good defensive play that time. Musselman kind of just sitting on that one. Generally, you get a back pedal there for a step or two to get your balance, so they were expecting run of some sort on that play.
On 2nd down and 10, still from inside their own 1-yard line. 2 receivers each way, and Harmon's going to keep it coming here to the near side. We'll get out to about the 5. There is a penalty marker down, and we may end up with a face mask.
We're going to get a face mask, yes. That's going to be a 15-yarder, and that's going to bring it out. Martinsburg's going to get some room on this play.
There it is, face mask against Musselman. They'll mark it off at the end of the 4-yard run out to that 5-yard line, and they mark it as just a 5-yard incidental face mask. That will move it, though, just shy of the 10-yard line, and the Bulldogs will now face a 3rd down and very short. Well, 2nd down and very short as they'll mark it off. Big play coming now for Martinsburg. See if they can convert and keep this drive going. There is the handoff, and that is Dwayne Grantham over top of the right side of his offensive line. He's going to take it out to the 14 for a gain of 4, and there it is. Martinsburg has the 1st down.
Well, that's what they're going to do. Martinsburg's just going to, again, one of the things I talked about is take what they give you. They're going to run the football, and they're going to make you tackle them, and they're going to break 1 or 2 here in the ball game. Then you're going to have to tighten up a little defensively against the run, and that's when the passing game opens.
Good to see Dwayne Grantham back last week as he ran for 170 yards on 11 carries. Screen pass near side, caught by Teddy Marshall. Marshall getting to the 20-yard line and then banged out of bounds. Ethan Walker was trying to take that football from him, and now a very late penalty marker comes in at the end of the play. That gain will be good for about 6 out to the 20-yard line, and now we wait and see what the penalty will be.
I can't see any more than a sideline warning maybe. Whoa, a personal foul against Musselman. Whoa, a late hit.
So the personal foul penalty, Vic, I think it may have been something said after everything was said and done.
Yes. And this is one of the things you have to be aware of. You can't afford, especially if you're Musselman, you can't afford, we'd have to call that a dumb penalty. You can't make those kind of mistakes. You can't let your mouth get you in trouble, and apparently that's what happened on that play.
So 1st down and 10 with the football now out to that 34-yard line, and we'll have an official's timeout. And we'll have, it looks like Teddy Marshall coming to the sideline as Michael Boite checks into the lineup. Marshall out there wearing no sleeves and may have got a scrape of some sort on his arm that they're sending him to the sideline. Either that or it had to do with equipment, as he is now on the near sideline. We'll check in with Brian Potts here on the sideline in just a moment. 3 receivers to the wide side right as Harmon brings a man in motion, takes that snap, gives the little touch pass to Gerard Bowie, turns the corner to the near sideline and forced out of bounds out at the 39. That gained good for 5 yards. That does go down as a pass completion on that little touch pass underneath. Let's check in with Brian down on the Martinsburg sideline.
Matt and Vic, I'm not really sure what happened there. I don't know if he got a little bit nicked up or it was an equipment problem, but he came out there and he's not back in on this series right now.
Well, let's see what happens as the Bulldogs from the 40-yard line now face a 2nd down. About 5 yards to go for a first. 2 receivers to each side of the formation with the ball on the near side hash mark. Harmon awaits that shotgun snap. He's got it. Hands it off to Grantham. Met in the hole by Chris Reinhart, and the linebacker spins him down at the 42, maybe closer to the 43, and it will bring up 3rd and about 1.
Musselman's trying to confuse Martinsburg with shifting defenses, and basically they're bringing a linebacker out or shifting someone up and then dropping one back into the deep coverage. Hasn't affected anything here. Thus far, Musselman's done a pretty good job against the run game. So big 3rd down coming up here with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. No score.
Harmon's going to keep it coming near side. Cuts back inside of the would-be tackle of Blake Hartman. Gets to the 45-yard line, and that will be good enough for the 1st down. Nice cut there at the last moment by Grant Harmon to get by Hartman. That allowed him to pick up what he needed. He'll actually get out to that 46, so that's a 3-yard gain.
5:50 to go, first quarter, no score. Musselman got it down to the half-yard line, was not able to get it in. They were stopped on 4th down, so Martinsburg has the football in their first attack.
8th play of this possession. Harmon has that shotgun snap, looks to the near side, throws deep for Gerard Bowie, overshoots him and out of bounds as Bowie goes head over heels, doing a tumble out onto the track as he went out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Harmon got just a little too much on that one, and it tailed out of bounds.
Oh, that's what you want to do. You got to keep the defense guessing. The defense is trying to make the offense guess by shifting and moving linebackers up and down and moving the safety over. This is just a little cat and mouse game that both teams are playing a little bit with each other.
2nd and 10 from their own 46, moving from right to left. There is the snap, and Harmon on the play action throws over the middle, and no flag down as Matt Van Duzer was going for the reception and got drilled by the free safety Ethan Walker, and he got there early.
No question about it.
The officials are going to rule it as a simple incompletion, saying that the timing was just right, but from our angle, certainly looked like he got there early.
I don't think there's much question about that.
3rd down and 10 coming now for Martinsburg. They have converted on a 3rd down already in this possession. 2 receivers again each way. Harmon has that shotgun snap. Has time, looks, throws. Deep along the near side, and again overthrows the intended target as Matt Van Duzer was out there, guarded on the play by Ben Bartles. Let's check in with Brian one more time on the sideline. Get an idea of how that wind is blowing down there and whether that's impacting these deep throws. Brian.
Yeah, Matt, if you can tell there from looking at the south end, the flag stretched out pretty good. We're still getting those gusts, and it is affecting. It looks like everything, once the quarterback's stepping back, it's taking everything to his left.
Trey Sign out there now to punt it away. Awaits that snap. He's got it. Steps into it, and the kick is out of there. It's going to bounce at the 21, take a big Martinsburg roll down inside the 10, down to the 5, rolling slightly sideways. Oh, and it gets by the Bulldogs' Anthony Smith as he tried to block that one from getting into the end zone, and it is a touchback.
Players do that all the time. They want to try to get the ball down to the 1 yard line or inside the 1 yard line. Don't take that chance.
Yeah.
Get it. If it gets inside the 5 yard line, take it anywhere you can get it in that area. Don't take that kind of opportunity to think that you made a great play.
That punt ends up going for 54 yards, but just 34 as it comes out to the 20-yard line, and that is where Musselman will have it for their second possession. No score with 5:08 remaining in our opening quarter. Musselman got that first possession started at the Bulldog 21 after the opening kick was returned 66 yards by Blake Hartman. They got to 4th and goal at the 1. Martinsburg's defense held. The Bulldog offense then ran 10 plays, got it out to the 46 before the punt. Beard awaiting the shotgun snap. He's got it off the left side of the line, looks for some running room and gains a couple. Give him about 3 out to the 23. Grantham, one of the linebackers right there to help meet him.
Yeah, you were right. Grantham, first guy on the stop there for Martinsburg. We're down to 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the first quarter. No score. Musselman on their second possession. Martinsburg in their first possession, able to pick up a few first downs, but had to punt it away. And Musselman currently have the football.
3 receivers out to the left, a couple here to the right. 1 man in motion. That's Hartman coming to the near side. Beard on that quarterback keeper, going nowhere fast as, again, Michael Cullinay along that defensive front line was able to shed a block, go to his left, and make the tackle. It's a gain of 1 to the 24, and we'll bring up 3rd and 6. Nice job by Cullinay.
Yes, it was. Assisted by Barrett. Of course, he's always around the football. He's got a nose for the football.
That's why he leads this team with 101 tackles on the season, does Barrett. Cullinay now 21.5 tackles on the year. On 3rd down and 6, man in motion near side. Will set up as a wide out. Beard wants to throw, rolling to this near side. Nobody open and just gets rid of it. Coming back towards the football, Kagan Teets, but he can't get there as the ball goes out of bounds at the 30. Good coverage downfield by Martinsburg, and the punting unit will come on.
Excellent coverage that time at Martinsburg. Kind of a very closed formation that time by Musselman. I thought maybe they spread out a little bit more, but they didn't. And I guess maybe tried to intimidate Martinsburg into thinking they were going to run, but roll out, no one was open. Punt formation here is kind of looks like, anything could happen out of this punt formation with a man in motion.
And it is Beard who is the punter. He gets it away. Low line drive kick angling near side, and it bounces out of bounds on an angle. Let's see where they'll spot it. Should be right about the 47. And that is where they will put it down. And that punt going to be good for only about 23 yards with no return.
We have a 3 and out that time, Matt.
Change of field position.
That's right. Change of field position on those 3 and outs, and that's probably one of the Achilles heels of Musselman. You cannot have those 3 and out situations. So Martinsburg with excellent field position here with 3:37 here in the first quarter, no score. Their second possession.
Yeah, what a difference. Their first possession started inside their own 1. This possession starts in Musselman territory at the Appleman 47. Elijah Banks now out there at quarterback for the Bulldogs, and Naeem Kearney joins him in the backfield. So a completely different backfield on this second possession for the Bulldogs, who will line up with 2 receivers to each side of the formation. Looks like Brenniger out there as the center, gets that snap back, handoff to Naeem Kearney, lets the blocking set, comes to the near side, turns the corner down the near sideline, there he goes, he's to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, no one's going to catch him. Naeem Kearney into the end zone for the Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown, 47 yards on the run.
The only thing you can say about that is the fact that the same play, they've run the same play before, but again, this is a guy who has great vision. I really think there's something wrong with his vision. He sees too well. He just saw the opening and bounced it outside and just outran everybody down the sideline.
Well, Vicky was patient, put his hand on the back of a blocker, let that blocking set, and then, as you said, when his eyes saw the hole, his feet found that hole very quickly.
We're going to have an offside. I think Musselman stepped into the neutral zone. So Martinsburg's going to decline the penalty and go ahead and kick the extra point. So many teams will take the penalty and you move you in a yard and a half, and all that does is make it a more difficult kick because you have to now, since you're closer to the goal, even though it's only a yard and a half, you've got to get it up in the air a little bit quicker. The trajectory has to be a little bit higher. So they'll just keep it right there. Here's the snap and the kick. It's up. And it's good.
Yeah, just what you expect from Chris Catlett now. 68 of 71 on the season in extra points. Let's take a 1-minute timeout. 3:26 to play in our opening quarter. Martinsburg leads 7-0.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
W Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources. Certainly has helped take us to another level.
We'll give you that drive summary in just a moment. Chris Catlett approaches, and the kick is away. It's a squib roller along the far side, and going to the seat of his pants to corral that one at about the 36-yard line is Trey Beard. So the quarterback was out there on the kick return coverage and able to grab that one. For the Bulldogs, just a one-play 47-yard drive. Took 11 seconds for Naeem Kearney to cover that yardage for his 19th rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, you got the quarterback out there returning the kickoff. Is basically it's like the onside kick team. That's basically what you have out there. Your good hands guys. The guys with good hands because of the squib kick's going to be on the ground.
From their own 37 as the ball gets spotted now. 1st and 10, Musselman, 3 receivers out to the left. Now Odom comes in motion to the near side. They'll use him as a possible pitch man. Coming near side, Beard's going to keep it. Gets spun down by Grant Harmon as the Bulldog free safety comes up to make the tackle after a pickup of 2.
Ricky Barrett's down there complaining he got tackled on the play, and those people watching on TV were going to see that one pretty coming right at you there. So 2nd down, pickup of 2 on the play. 3 minutes here in the first quarter. 7-0, Martinsburg leads it.
2nd down, we'll call it 8. Ball now towards the near side, hash mark. Single receiver to the far side, 3 receivers tight here to the near side. Single set behind the quarterback is Hartman. He'll take the handoff off the left side of the line. No place to go. He got to the 40-yard line, maybe just a little beyond, and then quickly gets driven backwards. Looked like Aaron Pearson, a linebacker, who stepped up to really fill that hole. Call it a gain of 1, and it brings up a 3rd down and 7.
Musselman's working hard at trying to get their run game going, and Martinsburg just from tackle to tackle inside. These guys have really done just a stellar job thus far.
Vic, you talked about not getting into 3rd and longs, 3rd and 7, 3rd and goal from the 1, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. And so far, they've yet to convert as Musselman faces their 4th 3rd down here. On 3rd down and 7, that's Hartman awaiting the direct snap. He's got it, going to keep it coming near side, gets the blocking to pick up that 1st down as Grant Harmon eventually is able to grab him and throw him down, but not until that Martinsburg 48-yard line.
That's a good job of blocking up front by Musselman that time, and what they did was basically stayed on their blocks long enough so that the running back could get around their blocks. And one of the things they're doing now, they're trying to spread Martinsburg a little bit with 3 and 4 receivers most every play and try to get some running lanes. And that particular play, they did a good job with 1:40 to go, first quarter. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line of Martinsburg.
That last gain good for 13 yards. Beard back out there at quarterback, has Odom behind him, and we have a penalty marker down again. Somebody for Martinsburg again is lined up in the neutral zone. 2nd time that has occurred. This is a 5-yard penalty this time, and that is now for Martinsburg. 2 penalties for 8 yards. Both have been offside. That will make it a 1st down and 5 now with the football at the 42 in Bulldog territory. Beard will have Odom behind him. Three receivers to his left. Claps the hands together and takes that snap. That's Oldham who's going to get the carry. Running left and will not get much. Got back to the line of scrimmage and nothing else. Waiting to see who might come off the bottom of that pile. Who was the initial one to grab him? And that looks like Terrell Good. Yeah, Good. A defensive end very quickly. Wrapping up Sebastian Oldham, third leading rusher with over 600 rushing yards this season for Musselman. He's got 2 carries for just 1 yard.
Ty Lucas in on that play also. 35 seconds ago, first quarter. That'll bring up a second down, 2nd and 5 at the 42-yard line of Martinsburg.
Single set behind the quarterback, pistol formation. That's Hartman behind Beard, man in motion as the handoff goes to Hartman, met in the hole. He'll get tackled very close to what he needed for the first down. Barrett is there along with Lucas. The ball will get spotted at about the 37, and that will be enough for the first. So a 5-yard gain for Hartman. He's up to 20 yards now on 4 carries. Musselman beginning to get this ground game going just a little bit. Not easy to do against a Bulldog defense that gives up only 44 rushing yards a game.
We're down to 9 seconds. This will probably be was the last play of the first quarter. Its clock is going to run down.
Down to 3, down to 2, down to 1, and Musselman will not get the play off. The clock has hit zeros, and now still waiting as we've yet to get an official to. Now we're going to have an official calling an offside against Martinsburg. No, the clock had run out. They've got to pick up that flag. Hang on, and that's what Buddy Hessen is calling from the sideline. And I think they are going to now set that football back down as the teams will go to their respective sidelines, and we'll head to the quarter as, yes, they have waved off the penalty. Back in 1 minute, heading to quarter number 2 here at Coburn Field with Martinsburg leading Musselman 7-0.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Start the play clock.
7-0 is the lead for Martinsburg. Musselman football. 1st and 10 from the Bulldog 36 now as we get this second quarter underway. Handoff to Sebastian Oldham. Oldham was straight ahead running. Going to move it down to about, let's see, the 31-yard line. Pickup of 5, close to 6. While it's 7-0 here, Vic, at Spring Valley. The Timberwolves and the Capital Cougars right now are tied 7-7 in the first quarter.
Well, kind of what you expected, and I'm still looking for the possibility of an upset in that ball game.
Second down, 4 yards to go for a first from the 31 of Martinsburg. Beard going to keep this one. The quarterback running right, bowling forward, will get close to what he needed for the first down. In fact, it looks like he's going to have it as he's close to the 26. Depending on the spot. Barrett in there to help make the stop. Grantham as well, a couple of linebackers. And as they set it down just outside of the 26, I think they're actually going to bring the sticks in and measure for this one. Martinsburg scoring on a 47-yard touchdown run for Naeem Kearney. That came with 3:26 to play in the opening quarter, but that has been the only scoring. Musselman had an opportunity their first possession, 66 yards on the opening kick return for Blake Hartman. Set him up at the Bulldog 21, but they could not get in the end zone on a 4th down and goal to go from inside the 1. Martinsburg then took over, and as they did, they were able to at least change the field position. Now we're waiting for our officiating crew to...
Wow, looks like it's their first game or something. They can't even get the chains out properly. They were marking it from the wrong spot. He's got the first down.
Yeah. So that gain, good for 5 yards and a first down. I've got 8 carries for 14 yards now for Beard and 4 first downs in the early going for Musselman. This will be the 8th play of this possession as they have really put together a nice ground attack. 2 yards, 2 yards, 13 yards, no yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, and 5 more on first down. Beard going to keep it. Coming near side, Grant Harmon, the free safety there to help meet him inside the 25 at about the 24. That gain is good for 2. 2nd and 8 coming, and you got to like what Musselman is doing. Coach Thomas has to be pleased. They're controlling this clock, controlling this ball game, running time, and making things happen.
And making positive yards running the football.
But remember what we said in the pregame. You've also got to find the end zone. They couldn't do it on that first possession. Let's see what they do here. Hartman in there now at quarterback, brings Beard in motion from left to right. Blake Hartman bounces off the initial pile to his right and then gets driven down after a gain of just a couple. As again, the Bulldogs are right there defensively. Michael Boite helping to make that stop. Hartman up there. A whole host of dogs as they'll set it down at the 23. Just 1 yard that time for Blake Hartman, and it's 3rd and 7.
This is the critical area right here, and 3rd down and 7. Eventually, I think they're going to use the guys they're putting in motion. About every play, they're putting somebody in motion to the ball side. They're able to use him out in the flat as a pass receiver or a handoff.
Hartman goes in motion to that far side as Beard takes the snap, rolling far side, in trouble, lets it go. Hartman the catch at the 25, turns towards the middle of the field and then gets drilled and taken down after a gain of just a couple. Again, they'll mark this one at the 22, so that's only 1 yard on that pass completion, and it will bring up a 4th down and 6.
Exactly what we just talked about the play before, saying the fact that you use the motion man into either handoff or into the passing situation. That time they got him the football, but a pickup of only a yard. Barrett put a lot of pressure on the quarterback that time. He had to get rid of it a little bit quicker than he wanted to. Play clock is just starting about 5 or 6 seconds ago. These officials are not doing a very good job.
4th down, 6 yards to go for a first from the Bulldog 22, and we have a penalty marker down from our back judge.
We got a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah. They're shutting off the play clocks. I'm not sure why, but apparently they're having some kind of an issue. They're shutting off the play clocks as they mark off a penalty. Apparently too many men on the field for Musselman, and that will back them up 5 yards. They've now been penalized 3 times for 20 yards, make it 3 times for 25 yards in this first half. That's a costly 5 yards as it moves it back out to the 27, and now instead of a 4th down and 6, you get 4th down and 11. Musselman going to do a quick huddle now as a team, and now they spread out. 2 receivers to the far side, 3 here to the near side as Beard will await that shotgun snap. Ball on the far side hash mark. Hartman starts in motion. There is that snap, and they'll run the inside scissors. The handoff going to Sebastian Odom, who then gives it to Hartman coming the opposite direction, and Hartman will move inside the 25 down to about the 24. That gain will be good for 3, maybe 4 yards, and Martinsburg will take over on downs.
I think I'd had to put it in the air on that play. I think I'd have to take my chances and get your quarterback out there on the corner and try something there. And that has not been a successful play. It was not successful against Martinsburg the first time that they played, and wasn't successful in that one either. So with that 8 minutes and 39 seconds to go, first quarter, Martinsburg with his possession now at the 23-yard line of Musselman, 1st and 10.
On first down, Banks out there at quarterback. Has Naeem Kearney to his left side, hands him the football. Kearney again weaves his way through the line of scrimmage, out beyond the 25 to about the 28-yard line, and that gain is good for 5 yards. 2 carries, 52 yards for Naeem Kearney, who had a 47-yard touchdown run the last time the Bulldogs had it. On 2nd down and 5. Ball out closer now to the 29 as you set it down. Kearney going to line up to the right side of Banks. Trip receivers here to the wide side right. Banks wants to throw, receiver screen, and a catch made by Teddy Marshall. Marshall looking for blocking, not going to get much as he got to the 30-yard line. A pass as it came out of the hand of Banks seemed to slip just a little bit and caused Marshall to have to go deeper into the backfield to make that catch, and then the blocking kind of collapsed.
Well, Brian talked about the fact the wind's blowing in that direction. Now, actually, as you said, it blew a little bit further to the left than he wanted it to go. So it made him tough to catch and recover. 3rd and 4.
From the 30-yard line of Musselman on 3rd down and 4. Martinsburg 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversions. Banks will have 2 receivers each way with the ball on the near side hash mark. Naeem Kearney going to shift from the left to the right side of the quarterback. There is the snap. There is the give. Kearney started to the far side, finds a short cutback lane to his right, and then quickly gets into the secondary where the linebacker Sebastian Odom grabs a hold of him and brings him down, but not until the 44-yard line. That's a 14-yard gain and a Bulldog first down.
He should have probably been stopped at best at the line of scrimmage. Just good move, good foot movement at that time, and offensive line did a nice job of staying on the block. So big first down to keep the drive going. 7:05 to go here in the second quarter. Still just a 7-0 football game. Those are expecting some kind of wild score here. It's been a well-played game on both sides by both teams.
About 3 carries, 66 yards now for Naeem Kearney. Banks wants to throw on 1st down, deep over the middle, and he's got an open receiver, and the pass slightly underthrown and intercepted. Oh, you just got to give credit to Trevin Carter as the 5'9 sophomore was able to reach out and snare that pass intended for Cello Teneval.
That was a great interception in that play, but I have to kind of fault Teneval on that play. He just simply outran the football. He just thought the ball was coming down. It reached its peak and was on its way down. He just needed to slow up a little bit there, and he makes the catch.
Turnover number 1 as Martinsburg turns it over on that INT. And from their own 14-yard line, Musselman will have it, their 4th offensive possession of this first half. They have certainly dominated in the number of plays run offensively. Hartman out there as the quarterback. He'll take that direct snap. A little wild apple offense coming near side. Hartman gets hit and taken down. Grant Harmon on the tackle along with Dwayne Grantham. The stop will come at about the 16, almost 17-yard line. Gain of 3.
I watched Bernarski get practically tackled on that play. This is really been some bad officiating. Last week we saw that. We saw it out of the Musselman game. We saw it here last week, and not good officiating here today. They're so obvious on some of the calls, or lack of calls, shall I say.
And the Martinsburg faithful certainly calling for that hold, but did not get the call. 2nd down and 7. Beard back out there at shotgun pistol formation. He fakes the inside handoff, keeps it, turns the corner on the right side, and gets taken down for a loss on the play. Nothing doing as Dwayne Grantham, the linebacker, there to make that stop. That'll be a loss of about 2 back to the 15-yard line and bring up a 3rd and 9.
Grantham and Barrett, the linebackers, getting in there. They're becoming more active. It's good penetration that time. And one of the things you can't do, if you're going to run an option as a quarterback, you can't run deep. You got to run a little further down the line of scrimmage. The deeper you run, the easier it is for the defense.
Hartman, the single set behind the quarterback. Beard with that pistol formation. Gives the handoff. There seemed to be a collision in the backfield as Kagan Teets was going in motion. He and Hartman kind of collided, and that slowed the play down. And the gain is good for only about 2 yards out to the 17. And you'd imagine the punting unit's coming on as Beard will step back to punt.
5 minutes to go here in the first half. It's a 7-0 football game. Probably a shocker to a lot of people who are listening that it's just a 7-0 football game, but that's how well it's been played by both teams.
Well, there goes the punt off the foot of Beard, and it goes over the head of Grant Harmon, who's going to play it on a hop back at the 39-yard line. Coming to the near side, gets tripped up and taken down by Chris Reinhardt. He'll make that stop back at the 39-yard line.
In that 70-0 football game, Harmon probably would have broke that tackle and gained quite a few yards on that play, but a good job by Reinhardt. It just shows you that the Musselman faithful over there are seeing their football team who's improved dramatically since that football game.
That punt covers 44 yards, and now Martinsburg takes over at their own 39-yard line. First down and 10. Grant Harmon back out there at quarterback, takes that snap, hands it off, jet sweep to Gerard Bowie, looking to turn the corner on the left side, spins, and then gets grabbed by Ethan Walker, who spins him around again and then throws him out of bounds. See if they mark progress to that 40-yard line. If so, it would be a gain of 1. And Gerard Bowie has worked that end around numerous times this season. Well, 4 to be exact. That would now be 5 carries for 72 yards, as they do give him a yard to the 40 here. So second down and 9. Trip receivers to the wide side right, single receiver to the left. Harmon with a shotgun snap, controlled roll to this near side, looking, lofts it downfield, looking for Michael Boite. He's got it at the 25, stays on his feet to the 15, 10, 5, and into the end zone for the Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. Caleb Hardy, the sophomore, was out there on coverage, kind of got his feet tangled up just a little bit and was going down as Boite was able to make the grab and then take it in. The score covers 60 yards.
Well, you think you got them covered. You got everything. You're right where you need to be. You're controlling the run game, and then all of a sudden they go over top. And I want to go back to the pass to Boite, the one that was intercepted on the last series. And I'm not faulting him. I'm not faulting the pass. The wind knocked that ball down. That ball was thrown into the wind. It just simply knocked the ball down.
Snap back, hold down, extra point kick for Catlett is up, and it is through. 4 minutes, 24 seconds to play in the first half. We take a 1-minute break with Martinsburg now in front, 14-0.
To see the inspirations of Mishu's tuxedo collection, look to the sky and stars. For the jewelry itself, come to Bechtel Jewelers for the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th. These playful pieces are a wonderland of sparkly blacks and whites, plus other festive colors. Gems like shimmering black druzy, onyx, and ice quartz adorn silver and gold. Enjoy sophisticated everyday elegance at the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th, and let your inner sparkle shine. Only at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
Well, the ensuing kickoff from Chris Catlett popped up to the far side hash mark. Ethan Walker able to make the fair catch, and Musselman will have it at their own 42-yard line. Martinsburg with a 2-play, 61-yard scoring drive took only 20 seconds. A 60-yard touchdown pass from Grant Harmon to Michael Boite. For Harmon, it is his 23rd touchdown pass on the season. For Boite, his 4th touchdown reception. Musselman football, far side hash mark as they move from right to left. This will be their 5th offensive possession of this first half. 4:24 to play in the half. On first down and 10. Beard wants to throw, looks near side, gives a little pump fake, throws deep, has an open receiver, and incomplete as he had Ethan Wilson out here. Grant Harmon, the safety, a little late in getting over, but that ball floated on Beard and ended up sailing out of bounds. There's that wind again.
Yeah, that wind just simply carried that one. That ball just kept going and going and going.
1 of 5 passing for 12 yards in the early going of this one, or I should say 2 of 5. Let me get my numbers correct, as Beard has connected with Wilson on an 11-yard pass and Hartman on a 1-yard pass. Second down and 10 coming from their own 42. Beard awaiting that shotgun snap. 3 receivers tightly grouped here to this left side. It's a wide receiver screen caught by Blake Hartman and immediately hit and taken down by Anthony Smith as the outside linebacker read that one all the way. It'll be a loss of about 3 or 4.
Well, he's in great position that time and a good form tackle there by the outside linebacker. and doing a good job in controlling that corner. Anthony Smith, I think, has been one of the more improved players. He's one of those guys that he learns and learns and learns, and doesn't make mistakes that he was making earlier in the year. I think he's one of the most improved players on this team.
Third and 13 after a loss of 3 on that last play. Hartman in motion as they fake the handoff to Odom. Beard wants to keep it, looking for running room, no place to go. Dragged down from behind by Ricky Barrett. Got some help out there as well from Trey Sign, the outside linebacker. Another loss, this one back to the 35, -4 yards, and the punting unit will come on.
Now, this is where the tide's starting to change. And last series on offense, now this big series on defense. Martinsburg now with an opportunity. Now the punt returners need to back up a little bit more. They don't want the ball to go over their head. They have an opportunity for excellent field position. Ooh,
snap back to Beard. What a wobbly kick coming near side. Grabbed on the run at the 40-yard line down the near side. That is Gerard Bowie. Bowie getting a block to the 30. Has a blocker in front to the 10. Around that block of Michael Boite. Takes it into the end zone. It'll be a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown.
But it's coming back.
Penalty marker down back at the 32-yard line. That punt return would have covered 60 yards for a score.
It's coming back. They're going to call a crackback block.
There it's going to be personal foul. That is, the blindside block or crackback block on a defenseless Musselman special teamer. And that will nullify the 60-yard punt return touchdown. The punt covered 25 yards before the big return, but now Martinsburg will have to set up the offense from the 46 in Musselman territory after that penalty gets marked off.
Well, I have no complaints about that. That's a rule, and it was there. It happened. That was a crackback block. Tough one because it's a natural instinct to block the guy.
2:48 to play first half. Back to throw the football. Harmon flushed out of the pocket, able to escape the first tackler, but will not get away from Wilson. Blowing that play up was Adam Taylor, a 6-foot junior who got up in there and forced Harmon to move, and that's when Ethan Wilson was able to come off a block, and the sack occurs back at the 45.
That's a big play there from Musselman now, especially on first down. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 20.
Yeah.
With 2:20 to go here in the first half. Plenty of time. Martinsburg, I think, has all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
On 2nd down and long, Harmon fakes the give to Grantham, keeps it coming near side, follows the block of Bednarski as he gets into Musselman territory, and he'll gain back about the 9 yards lost on that first down sack. So 3rd down and roughly 10 yards to go for a Bulldog first down. They're 2 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. Ball's going to be at the 46-yard line. In Musselman territory, clock moving, 1:40 to play in this first half. Harmon has that shotgun snap, has time, wants to throw deep along the near side, looking for Cello Teneval. He's got it at the 10-yard line, then gets hit and goes out of bounds. The grab was made. He then got hit by Trevin Carter, and while going out of bounds, ended up losing that ball high up into the air, but it is a grab. Good, down to the 6-yard line, a pickup of 40, and it's 1st and goal.
That's a big play again, trying to control the big plays, and that's a situation there where it's a big play that simply Musselman not able to control. They've got to keep receivers in front of them. That's the only way that you're going to be able to control that. You can't get beat over top.
From the 6-yard line on first down, goal to go. Harmon going to fake that give to Grantham and keep it and get a gain of, maybe a couple as he gets spun down. We'll call it the 4-yard line. A little option opportunity there. The quarterback had to make the read. Harmon decided to keep it and gains 2. 2nd down, goal to go. Ball at the 4-yard line. 5th play of the possession.
We're under a minute now here in the first half. I'm Martinsburg. I was going to say, we got another flag here. Let's see what happens here.
Penalty marker down.
Musselman, I think, this time lined up or walked into the neutral zone.
No, he called a sideline warning.
Okay.
That I don't understand when he's all the way down there, unless he was hearing some chirping about something. I don't know.
Well, the sideline warning is only if you're out of your zone, and Musselman coaches or players were not.
Yeah. Well, there is a high snap out of the shotgun. Harmon's got it and then gets to the goal line, diving in for the Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. Took a step to his left, moved forward, slipped a tackle, and Harmon takes it in from 4 yards out.
Tell you, that's a big score right there. That is a big score. Make it 20-0 here. Extra point coming up with 46 seconds to go in the first half of the football game. But that was just a big series for Martinsburg.
13th rushing touchdown on this season for Grant Harmon. Chris Catlett trying to make it 3 for 3 on the day in extra points. Snap is back to Trenton Sherman. Placement down. The kick is up and it is good. With 46 seconds to play in our first half, we step aside with Martinsburg now leading 21-0.
It's one of the toughest times you'll ever face when someone close to you passes away. It's a swirl of papers to sign and arrangements to be made, all while you're dealing with grief. At Brown Funeral Home, we encourage you to pre-plan. Pre-planning not only makes things easier for you, it protects you from rising costs. At Brown Funeral Home, our families are precious to us, and so are yours. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
Back again at Coburn Field, where Chris Catlett has the ball resting on its side at the 42-hour left along the near side hash mark. He'll look to get away a squib or bouncing kick. Two officials getting together over along that far side, including our head referee.
They're escorting a person from the field. So we're back to play now.
Here we go as Catlett approaches and squibs it along the near side. Trey Beard's going to take it on a big hop at the 30 and then drop to a knee at about the 29. They'll mark it closer to that 30-yard line. And with 44 seconds left in the first half, let's see what Musselman will do. From their own 30-yard line, first down and 10. This would be their 6th offensive possession.
I'm Musselman. I'm going to be a little bit conservative here. I'm just not going to do anything crazy because of the fact you're in Martinsburg territory. You don't want to give the ball up here. But at the same time, you might want to try to get the ball to someone, take a shot, something short or quick.
Trey Beard takes the snap, fakes the inside handoff to Sebastian Odom, gives that end-around handoff to Blake Hartman, and Hartman's going to gain 4 yards out to the 34. Second down, 6 coming. Clock continues to wind. Musselman still with a couple of timeouts, but not going to burn one here. I've got 9 carries, 34 yards in this first half for Hartman. Looks like they will run one more play. Down to 13, down to 10, down under 8 seconds left in this first half. Beard out of the pistol formation, takes that snap, hands it off, and, Kagan Teets ends up colliding with Blake Hartman, who got hit and taken down right at the 30-yard line, and that'll be a loss of 4 yards, and the teams will head into the locker room at the half. Brian Potts is down on the sideline, and we'll get a quick thought from Martinsburg head coach David Walker. Brian, take it away.
Coach Walker, that first half looked like 2 heavyweight boxers going at it. They were giving you their best shot, and you all were trying to take yours there for a while.
Yeah, they're playing hard, and we're doing okay. I think we're kind of going through the motions right now, so hopefully we'll wake up here in the second half. But we've made some plays, obviously, but I don't know. We're just we're a little flat right now, it seems like.
Well, it looked like offensively your last 2 series you gained some rhythm there. You started getting a little more confidence up front and made some big plays there, especially with the passing game. And, of course, we got some wind out here, too. It's not helping the quarterbacks.
Yeah, we'll just come out here in the second half and see what we can do.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Brian Potts down on the sideline talking with Martinsburg head coach David Walker as the teams head into the locker room at the half. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, then return here to Coburn Field, where Martinsburg leads Musselman in this state class AAA semifinal 21-0.
It's one of the toughest times you'll ever face. When someone close to you passes away, it's a swirl of papers to sign and arrangements to be made, all while you're dealing with grief. At Brown Funeral Home, we encourage you to pre-plan. Pre-planning not only makes things easier for you, it protects you from rising costs. At Brown Funeral Home, our families are precious to us, and so are yours. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
To see the inspirations of Miss Yu's tuxedo collection, look to the sky and stars. For the jewelry itself, come to Bechtel Jewelers for the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th. These playful pieces are a wonderland of sparkly blacks and whites, plus other festive colors. Gems like shimmering black druzy, onyx, and ice quartz adorn silver and gold. Enjoy sophisticated everyday elegance at the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th, and let your inner sparkle shine. Only at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
W Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population, of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources.
Certainly has helped take us to another level.
Matt Miller down on the sideline filling in for Jason Colrick. Today it's Brian Potts back at the studio. Caleb Valero, our TV 10 cameraman, is Chip Rittenhouse, and running our TV 10 coverage is Matt Crawford. We are at the intermission. Martinsburg with a 21-0 lead. Vic, a little analysis on this first half. Musselman's got to be pleased. They've come out and done certainly some of the things that they wanted to do as they have controlled the clock. They've run more offensive plays than Martinsburg. They've been able to slow down this Martinsburg attack, but at the same time, as you mentioned in the pregame show, you got to find a way to get into the end zone. And when they couldn't score on 4th down and goal to go inside the one on that opening possession, they really haven't gotten close again since.
No, that was really a backbreaker. That's exactly what you wanted. You had a great kickoff return. You got yourself set up. You've got a big 3rd down and 6, and you pick up a 1st down on a pass play on a nice slant pass across the middle, and you got it going. You get a penalty here along in that drive, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you get another little 5-yard penalty, and you're down at the 1-yard line, and you get down to the half-yard line. You don't get in the end zone. And we talked about that, the fact that as part of the pregame, you've got to get it into the end zone. At the very least, a field goal. But they went 4th down and the ball inside of the 1 and not being able to get it in the end zone really was a backbreaker. Martinsburg didn't score on the next possession, but Musselman didn't score on maybe the best opportunity, has been the best opportunity thus far in the ball game. So they put themselves in a bad situation, and Martinsburg now seems like they're starting to catch on to what they're trying to do defensively. Musselman came into this ball game, I think, with some pretty good ideas. They threw some wrinkles in and so forth. They have been working. Martinsburg just trying to adjust to it. But there again, if the run game isn't getting it there, they throw. The pass game gets you, and now they're starting to get both of those working pretty well.
Yeah, Martinsburg and defensively really getting that job done as the Dogs, after that stop, on that fourth down play really haven't given up a lot. Even when Musselman's been able to get a little bit of a drive going, it's been, 2 yards here, 3 yards there, and eventually that drive is stalled out.
Yeah, and they've gotten to the point now where those third and 5 and third and 6 and third and 7s, they look like a mile now for Musselman. It's gotten to be that tough. So Martinsburg has kind of pretty much figured that out. And one of the things I think that's really evolved in this ball game for Martinsburg has been their linebacking core has been more involved. I think they're bringing the linebackers a little bit more, putting more pressure on them, and we're seeing penetration by the defense. So that puts more pressure on Musselman offensively. And again, the passing game, they've had one significant pass. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
We are at the intermission. Martinsburg with a 21-0 lead. Let's send it back to the studio. We'll take a timeout, and when we return, we'll recap the scoring from this first half. You're listening to West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR and watching on TV 10.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
We are back once again here at Coburn Field, home of the Martinsburg Bulldogs, the site of today's AAA state semifinal. Martinsburg hosting Musselman, a rematch of a game played earlier this year. On the other side of the bracket, it's a rematch of a game played earlier as well, as Spring Valley is hosting Capital, and we'll check in on that game coming up in just a bit. Right now, we recap the scoring as we go back through the drives. Musselman got the game started with a 66-yard opening kick return from Blake Hartman, set up the Appleman at the Bulldog 21. They would get down to that 1-yard line, actually inside the 1, but on a 4th down and goal to go, they ran a little play-action dump pass. It was just a great defensive play by Dwayne Grantham as the linebacker got over into that open territory, leaped up into the air, and knocked that pass down.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was just a great athletic play. And not too many people have athletic players as athletic as Dwayne Grantham, and he showed that on that particular play. To some people, it'll look like, okay, you just got a hand up, knock it down. No, that was just a great play. He has so many very, very good instincts that you don't see from other players, and a lot of times they go unnoticed. But that was just a great play.
So Martinsburg takes over inside their own 1-yard line, and the Bulldogs put together a 10-play drive. They get out to their own 46 before 3 straight incomplete passes stall that drive, and with 5:08 to play in the opening quarter, it was a punt off the foot of Trey Sign that sailed 54 yards as it ultimately bounced into the end zone. So Musselman got their second possession started at their own 20, and that's when the battle of field position changed in favor of the Bulldogs as the defense held the Appleman to just 4 positive yards on a 3rd and 6. An incomplete pass led to a punt, and Martinsburg got the ball at the 47 of Musselman, and Naeem Kearney on his first carry of the day let the blocking set up off to his left, got to the near sideline, and outran everyone, 47 yards for the score. The extra point up and good for Chris Catlett. Martinsburg led 7-0, and that would be the score going into quarter number 2, as Musselman on their 3rd possession ran 3:25 off that first quarter clock and held it all the way down to 8 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first half. They put together an 11-play drive that started at their own 37, but again, that drive stalled at the Martinsburg 27-yard line. They were ready to face a 4th and 6 from the Bulldog 22, but it was too many men on the field for Musselman that backed them up 5 more yards, and from that Martinsburg 27 on a 4th and 11, They ran a running play to Blake Hartman. He picked up 4. That was not enough, and the Bulldogs took over. But Martinsburg couldn't get anything going. They picked up 1 first down, but then on 1st and 10 from their own 45, a pass deep over the middle was intercepted by Trevin Carter. Musselman would get the football right back, but it was at their own 14-yard line. They mustered up just 1 yard on 3 plays before punting it away again, and that's when Martinsburg took over at their own 39, and 2 plays later, well, it was a 60-yard touchdown pass down the near sideline as Grant Harmon connected with Michael Boite. That capped a 2-play, 61-yard drive. Took only 20 seconds. Catlett with the extra point, and the Bulldogs led 14-0. It would be another 2 possessions for Musselman where they went 3 and out. Martinsburg able to put together a scoring drive on their 5th possession of the first half. Started with 2:48 to play in the half, and it was a 5-play, 46-yard drive, 2 minutes and 2 seconds off the clock, a 4-yard touchdown run for Grant Harmon, capping that drive. And, well, that has us where we are right now, 21-0 at the half, as Chris Catlett again added the PAT. And here's the thought to think about as we get ready to start the second half, and that's Martinsburg already with the lead, gets the football to start the second half.
Going to be real interesting. This is going to be a situation where I think if Musselman allows a score, a touchdown, especially in this ball game, it's really going to be very, very difficult for them to come back. I think if they can get a 3 down and out, or at least stop Martinsburg and force them to punt, then I think they have a fighter's chance. But then they can't give up another score and being down 3-0.
The Bulldogs have scored on 3 out of 5 first half possessions, including the last 2 times that they had the football. We'll see if they can carry some of that momentum into and then back out of the locker room to start the third quarter.
Now, one of the best things that has happened for Musselman is the fact that Martinsburg has only had 5 possessions, but they've scored 3 out of 5. That's a pretty good percentage for anybody. But one of the things that Musselman has been able to do has been efficient enough on offense that they've been able to keep the football, move the football down the field, get some first downs, but they have not been able to put it in the end zone.
All right, let's take another 1-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll see what else is going on around these semifinals, both in AAA, and we'll take a look at what's happening in AA and Single A as well. We will be back in just a moment. At the intermission, it is Martinsburg leading Musselman 21-0. You're listening and watching West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV 10.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
W Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population, of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources.
Certainly has helped take us to another level.
Well, back again here at Coburn Field. Let's take a look at what else is going on around semifinal action. Let's stay right here in AAA. Vic Martinsburg trying to get back to the state championship game for a 3rd straight year. So too is Spring Valley. They're the number 2 seed at 12-0 on the season, entertaining the number 3 seed 11-1 Capital. And we understand that game has now gone to the half with Spring Valley on top of Capital 28-7.
That was a pretty close game during the course of the regular season when those 2 teams played. So Capital stepping up the game, obviously, at this point, and you look at it and say, well, Martinsburg beat Musselman 70-0, and now it's 21-0 at halftime. Maybe Martinsburg isn't as good as I think Musselman has improved, obviously, and it was under totally different circumstances than those ball games, but it really doesn't matter. You can take all the scores and records and all that stuff, and as they say, throw them out the window, because all that matters is what you do next week.
Well, and next week will be the state championship, and right now looking like it could be a rematch of the past two. Spring Valley has that 28-7 lead on Capital at the half, and Martinsburg leads here against Musselman 21-0. Let's turn to AA, where Bluefield holds a 14-7 lead over Bridgeport. That game is at the half. Bluefield is the number 2 seed, winners of 5 in a row. They're 11-1. Bridgeport, winners of 8 in a row, coming in also at 11-1. Anxious to see how the second half plays out in that one. Bluefield, the defending state champions, trying to get back to Wheeling Island Stadium.
Tell you, Bluefield's always been good. They've always been a team that has been, Matt, if we take a look at so many of these schools, they were ex-AAA schools, like the Bluefields and schools like that, the Fairmont schools. And so things have changed quite a bit as far as the schools, as far as school size and so forth, but you're just so familiar with them being a larger school that it's hard to visualize the Fairmont schools and the Bluefields and those types of schools being AA.
You mentioned Fairmont. Fairmont Senior is the number 1 seed. They're 12-0 in AA. They will take on the 12 seed 10-2 Weir. That game is tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. The other 2 games going on today will be, actually tonight, and that's in Single A. Number 4, 12-0 Doddridge County is at the top seed, Wheeling Central. The Maroon Knights are 11-1, and that game kicks off at 7:30. So too does Williamstown, the number 6 seed, at 10-2, taking on the number 2 seed Midland Trail, who is 12-0. Again, both of those games tonight at 7:30. Well, let's take another 1-minute timeout, and then when we come back, we'll run the numbers from this first half. We'll check in with Brian one more time down on the sidelines, and we'll have our second half of action in the State Class AAA semifinals from Coburn Field, where Martinsburg leads Musselman 21-0. This is West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio WRNR.
It's one of the toughest times you'll ever face, when someone close to you passes away. It's a swirl of papers to sign and arrangements to be made, all while you're dealing with grief. At Brown Funeral Home, we encourage you to pre-plan. Pre-planning not only makes things easier for you, it protects you from rising costs. At Brown Funeral Home, our families are precious to us, and so are yours. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
Back again here at Coburn Field. Along with Vic Holmes, I'm Matt Miller. Brian Potts filling in for Jason Colrick down on the sideline. Back at the studio is Caleb Falero. Operating TV10 today, Matt Crawford. And our TV10 cameraman is Chip Rittenhouse. Time for a look at first half numbers, brought to you by Bears Repair at 904 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. For all of your automotive repair needs, contact the certified mechanics at Bears Repair. Phone 304-262-0208. Let's begin with the Musselman Appleman. They ran 30 plays in the first half, but tallied just 57 total yards, 48 rushing yards, and 9 passing yards in 6 offensive possessions. Turned it over on downs twice, punted 3 times, and took the football into the locker room at the half. In all, they tallied 4 first downs, penalized 2 times for 20 yards. Musselman 1 of 7 on third down conversions and 1 for 3 on fourth down conversions. Leading the ground game, Blake Hartman with 10 carries for 30 yards, 11 carries, 10 yards for the quarterback Trey Beard, and 3 carries for 7 yards for Sebastian Odom. Throwing the football, Beard has completed 3 of 6 passes for 9 yards, an 11-yard completion to Ethan Wilson, a 1-yard completion to Blake Hartman, and then a completion to Hartman that went for -3 yards. Turning to the Martinsburg Bulldogs, 5 first-half possessions. Martinsburg scored on 3, punted on 1, turned it over on an INT on the other possession. Martinsburg with 8 first downs in the first half, penalized 3 times for 23 yards. Martinsburg 3 of 4 on third down conversion attempts and did not attempt a fourth down. Martinsburg ran 22 offensive plays, 201 total yards of offense, 88 on the ground, 113 through the air. Starting quarterback Grant Harmon, 4 of 8 passing for 111 yards, including a 60-yard scoring strike to Michael Boite. Running the football, 6 carries, 13 yards, and a 4-yard score for Harmon. Also carrying the football, Naeem Kearney, 3 carries, 66 yards, including a 47-yard touchdown run. 2 carries for 8 yards for Dwayne Grantham, a carry for 1 yard for Gerard Bowie. Also throwing the football, Elijah Banks has completed 1 of 2 passes for 2 yards. A catch for 6 yards for Teddy Marshall in the first half. A grab for 5 yards for Gerard Bowie. Marshall added another catch to add 2 more yards. Of course, the 60-yard TD reception for Boite and a grab for 40 yards for Cello Teneval. First half numbers brought to you by Bears Repair at 904 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. Phone 304-262-0208 for all of your automotive repair needs. All right, before we get into our second half of action, let's check in with Brian down on the sidelines, get a feel for what the team may be thinking coming out of the locker room heading into this second half. Brian.
Well, Matt, it looks like right now there's a little bit more of a confidence there, or maybe just getting into the feel of the game on the Martinsburg sideline. As Coach Walker touched on there at halftime, it was pretty much, Musselman came out very strong, and especially on that kickoff, got him down there, and of course the defense held, but then the offense started getting some rhythm there, so I think they're looking forward to carrying it over here in the third quarter.
Well, Martinsburg does get the football to get our second half started. Putting the ball on the tee to our left is Luke Barger, the 6'3 sophomore place kicker. He'll kick directly from the middle of the field, and it looks like he'll get Ethan Walker to come over and perhaps help hold that ball on the tee, as there's enough of a breeze blowing that wants to blow the ball over. And it looks like that breeze has shifted a little bit, almost blowing down the field from the scoreboard end towards the Bulldog Boulevard end. Barger approaches and pops it up along the near side. Coming up on it is Trey Sign, and he'll make a fair catch at the 42-yard line, and Martinsburg will have it there. Nice kick by Barger. That one hung in the air, and you thought for a moment Musselman may get someone there, but a nice play by Trey Sign to come up there and fair catch it.
I'll tell you, that's giving up an awful lot of yardage. Those pop-up kicks give up an awful lot of yards. You're starting your offense now. Martinsburg at the 42-yard line. That's a pretty good start.
On 1st and 10, trip receivers to the wide side right as Grant Harmon is out there at quarterback. He's got Dwayne Grantham to his right side. Cello Teneval is the single set here to the near side as a wide out. Play call coming from the sideline. Everyone is ready. A.J. Brenniger with a snap back goes through the hands of Grant Harmon, and Harmon is able to dive on it back at the 30-yard line, and that is going to be a loss of 12 yards.
Wow.
Not the way you wanted it to go. That snap really wasn't a bad one, just went right through the hands of Harmon.
Yes, it did. It just simply shot right through his hands.
So 2nd down and 22 now from their own 30-yard line. If there's an offense, though, that can overcome this type of deficit, it's been this Bulldog offense. They've got some big play capability. Lining up in that same formation, looking to the near sideline, and now head coach David Walker calls for a timeout. Not quite the way you wanted to get this second half started.
No, you don't. You thought maybe this is an excellent situation. You got the ball on the your own 42-yard line after the kickoff, and you feel like offensively you left the field in good shape, and you were doing things well, and then all of a sudden, before you actually make a play, your first snap goes over your through the quarterback's hands, and now you're at a first down and 22. It's just kind of like, what the heck happened, you know?
Well, let's see what the Bulldogs can do as they quickly break that huddle along the near side and head to the football. Musselman coming from that far sideline, getting themselves set up defensively.
Now, if you're Musselman, you just definitely, you cannot give up a first down in this situation.
Grant Harmon awaiting the shotgun snap, controlled roll to the near side, and the quick out caught by Cello Teneval at about the 41-yard line. Hit immediately, driven backwards and taken down by Trevin Carter. See where they're going to spot it. They mark it. It looks like at that 40, well, put it right on the 40. I think he lost a yard there.
He lost a yard.
Plus 10 on that pass completion. Nice route by Teneval and a good throw by Harmon. So it will bring up third down now, 12 yards to go for a first. Dogs 3 of 4 on those third down conversions in that first half. Harmon again awaiting the shotgun snap. Bobbles it a little bit, but he's got it. Looking deep over the middle now to that far side. Lets it go and incomplete, and a penalty marker comes down as Cello Teneval was trying to get to that football and was being guarded by Ben Bartles, and we'll have a pass interference penalty. Oh, head coach Brian Thomas on that far side racing down the sidelines to get in the ear of the back judge, not liking that call.
I don't think he has a leg to stand on that one. That was a pass interference call. He didn't play the football. He made contact with the receiver before the ball got there. So the receiver actually didn't have a chance to actually catch the football.
3 penalties, 35 yards now on Musselman, and Martinsburg gets the first down the easy way as they again convert on a third down. As the ball gets moved to the 43-yard line in Musselman territory. Handoff to Grantham, running to his left, immediately grabbed by the defensive end. And Davon Shade, a 6'2", 200-pound senior, makes that tackle in the backfield for a loss. Grantham just hasn't been able to get anything going in this one quite like he did last week when he had 170 rushing yards against Parkersburg.
Well diagnosed there by the Musselman defensive front. They've done a good job as far as most of the run plays are concerned. Seems like they've been in the right place at the right time.
It's a loss of 4 yards, 2nd and 14 coming. Now from the 47-yard line in Musselman territory. Single receiver near side is Teneval. 3 receivers to the far side. Harmon fakes the handoff, keeps it coming near side, gets outside the numbers to the 40 and down to the 35-yard line. Mark him inside the 35, and Martinsburg will face a third down and short. Oh, great blocking, pardon me, off this left side of the line.
Yes, it was. Excellent job.
They do set it down inside the 35. We'll call it the 34. So it's third down and a short 2 for a Bulldog first. Needed 14 and picked up just about 12. Grantham going to shift from the left to the right side of the quarterback. Awaiting that shotgun snap. The handoff going to Dwayne Grantham. Looks to move to his right to the far sideline. Stays inbounds inside the 25 to the 20. Runs over a man. And let's see where they spot him. They'll say he stepped out of bounds on the 20-yard line. That is a gain. Good for 14 and another Bulldog first down.
Well, he had an unblocked defender out there on the corner. He just simply outran him to the corner and turned upfield for a first down for Martinsburg. 9:35 to go here in the third quarter. 21-0 to score. Martinsburg, this is the initial series on offense for Martinsburg, and they've overcome a couple deficits as far as the yardage is concerned. So we're at 1st and 10 at the 20.
Yeah, pass interference penalty helping Martinsburg to keep this drive going. On 1st down and 10 from the 20, Harmon to throw. Flush from the pocket as he moves to his left and now lets it go. Great pass and a great catch right on the sideline by Gerard Bowie. Mark him out of bounds at the 3. It's 1st and goal for the Bulldogs.
2 things. Great throw by Harmon. Great catch. Even a greater catch. I mean, that was just a great execution. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. He played it as well as he could.
Harmon on the run, put that one right where he needed to. Good, strong throw. And a good catch by Bowie going out of bounds. On 1st down and goal to go. Pistol formation as Harmon takes the snap, hands it off. Dwayne Grantham met in the backfield and taken down. Nobody able to get to Davin Shade, who came off the right side of the defense, left side of the offensive line. Reinhardt in there as well to help make that stop back at the 6-3.
Well, it's just a sellout play in the sense of the outside linebacker just on a blitz that time and no one there to block him.
Second down, goal to go. Football now around the 6-yard line. 8th play of this opening possession of the second half for Martinsburg. The Bulldogs leading 21-0. 8:40 on a running third quarter clock.
That's one of the reasons why you run option plays, to set that play up.
Harmon will await the snap out of that spread formation. Going to keep it here, coming to the near side. Gets the block from Grantham. Gets to the goal line, and Harmon is in. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. Lunged for that end zone, crossed the goal line, and as he hit the ground in the end zone, the football popped out of his hands, but he had already crossed the plane. It is a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown.
No, he had Grantham out here to pitch to, and he had the option right there, so they got him in a position where they wanted him. Either take Harmon or you take the pitch man. Couldn't take them both, so he tried to string it out, and Harmon cut it up inside for the score.
Harmon with his second rushing touchdown of the day, 14th of the season. Catlett for the extra point, puts it up and through, and with 8 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the third, we take a break with Martinsburg now leading 28-0.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Awaiting the ensuing kickoff as Catlett puts it on the tee at the 42-yard right along the far side hash mark. Let's see if he pops it up or kicks it deep. It's a deep end-over-end kick. Hartman going to take it at about the 8-yard line. Along the far side, numbers working to the sideline to the 20 and then gets pushed out of bounds just beyond the 24, looks like about the 24-yard line. In there to help push him out of bounds was Ethan Embry, a 5'8", 180-pound senior. Scoring drive for Martinsburg to open the second half. 8 plays, 58 yards in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. It was a 6-yard touchdown run for Grant Harmon, his second of the day, and Martinsburg leads 28-0. From their own 24, Musselman football, first possession of this second half. Got to find a way to get something going offensively. Hartman in motion from the far side to the near side. The snap to Trey Beard, and the quarterback just trying to keep it over top of the right side of his line is going to get a yard to the 25 and nothing more. Martinsburg really controlling that line of scrimmage.
They most certainly are. And right now, Musselman, you've got to find some extended plays. You've got to start reaching out, and you're going to have to throw a little bit. You're going to have to try to get on the corners and get the ball up the field a little bit. You're down 28-0. You're in the third quarter, so you got to make some plays.
Second down and 9. 3 receivers out to the left, a single receiver here to the right. Pistol formation with Hartman behind Beard. Claps his hands and takes the snap, hands it off. Hartman met in the hole by, looks like A.J. Brenniger. Yep, Brenniger able to make that tackle after a gain of a couple. Looks like they'll mark him out to the 27, make it the 28. So that's a nice 3-yard gain for Blake Hartman and brings up a 3rd and 6.
But a nice defensive play there by Brenniger getting off his block and then making the tackle there. 7 minutes, 25 seconds go, third quarter. Martinsburg on top, 28-0. Musselman with the football, with a 3rd down and 8 at their own 29-yard line. Here's another critical 3rd down.
1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions in that first half. On 3rd and 6, a pistol formation. Odom behind the quarterback as Beard takes the snap. Looks to that far side. Hit! Trey Sign knocked the football free. It's still loose, and I believe Martinsburg may have it. Yes, Aaron Pearson dives on the ball at the far side numbers 18-yard line. Bulldog football.
Boy, just a nice job. Good pressure by Martinsburg that time coming up inside. He just didn't have a chance. Got hit kind of blindsided right on that ball arm he had that stuck out there. So Martinsburg with the big turnover at the 18-yard line. 1st and 10, 6:57 to go here in the 3rd.
Boy, that sack will be for -10, and more importantly, the loss of the football as the fumble recovery by Pearson sets up Martinsburg at the Musselman 18. Elijah Banks out there at quarterback, has Naeem Kearney to his left side. 3 receivers here to this left side. Banks wants to throw. Receiver screen. It's caught by Teddy Marshall with blockers in front. Marshall will pick up about 6 yards or so. Taken down by Cody Schindeldecker, the 5'8" sophomore defensive back. 8 yards actually on that completion. So 2nd and 2 coming.
So Gerard Bowie missed his block, and he was smart in missing his block because he was going to have a hit in the back. So, early in the year, that probably would have happened. So he's learned along the way.
On 2nd down and 2, the Dogs go to the football, look to the near sideline, get that play call, look down at the wristbands, and now everybody into position. Banks taking that snap, fakes the handoff, he keeps it rolling to his right. He's to the 5, runs over a man there, stays on his feet all the way down to about the 3-yard line. Good hard run.
Yeah, hard run. I mean, one of the things that Banks has to do, he has to just lower his head and run the football when he's going to run. He's a big guy anyway when he's back there, at quarterback. I mean, the guy's 6'3", 220 pounds. I mean, he's a man back there.
Doesn't carry a lot, 25 carries for no yards, but 4 rushing touchdowns. Those tallies coming down a little bit because of sacks. Well, the Bulldogs on 1st and goal will bring Ricky Barrett into the backfield. They hand him the football, and Barrett off the right side of the line goes in for the score.
They just said, here, Ricky, run forward, run straight. And, he's just a tough all-around kind of guy. I really think he's a football player. I think he can play some small college football. I really do. He has that knack of being around the football, and he's a tough guy.
So the extra point attempt coming now for Chris Catlett. Snap placement, kick is up, and it is through. And with 5 minutes and 46 seconds to play in the 3rd, we'll step aside with Martinsburg now leading 35-0.
He is the most interesting jeweler in the world. Celebrities ask for his autograph. When buying diamonds, experts ask him what they're worth. He once counted to infinity twice. He has his own astrological sign.
I may not sell every customer that comes into Bechtel Jewelers, but on the rare occasions when I don't, they often wish I had. Stay brilliant, my friends.
Chris Catlett ready with the ensuing kickoff. He approaches, pops it up along the near side, and that is going to be caught at about the 42-yard line, right on the near sideline by Nick Turner, listed as a junior running back. Really had to run a long way to get to that one, a free ball. Very nice kick by Catlett. Martinsburg very close to getting to it. The Bulldogs scored on a 3-play, 18-yard drive in 1 minute and 11 seconds, a 3-yard touchdown plunge for Ricky Barrett. We'll check in with Brian Potts down on the sidelines after this first play. See if we can find out any more about the Barrett touchdown. On 1st down and 10 from their own 42, Musselman ball. Handoff Blake Hartman off the left side of the line. Hartman's going to pick up 4, maybe 5 yards. Now let's check in on the sidelines with Brian.
Well, Matt, I know he was very giddy down here a while ago when they called his number, so he went in there, I think, maybe anticipating he might get the handoff, and sure enough he did, and he bursted there right off that left side and untouched.
Into the end zone for Ricky Barrett. It's a heck of an opportunity for the senior. Ball out to the 46-yard line after that pickup of 4, so it's 2nd down and 6, and it's Hartman who's going to keep it around the left side to the midfield stripe where he'll pick up 4 more, and it will bring up a 3rd down and 2, and a big 3rd down for this Appleman offense. Got to find a way to keep this drive going.
They're almost at the point now, Matt, where they might be going 4th down situations at midfield, and that's not good.
They'll huddle up, getting that play as Beard comes from the far sideline into the huddle. Reinhardt, one of their normal offensive linemen, limping a bit on that sideline, so he's not able to be out there. Out of the shotgun, there is the snap. Beard wants to keep it off the left side of the line. He's got the 1st down. Grant Harmon, the safety, able to grab a hold of him, help to drag him to the ground at the 46, but that's a 4-yard gain, and Musselman getting that big 1st down they needed. Just the 2nd time in 9 tries they've been able to convert on a 3rd down conversion.
Now they're going to try to pick up some bigger chunks of yardage now. It's we're talking 4 minutes and 15 seconds on the running clock here in the 3rd quarter, so time becomes of a problem also for Musselman.
35-0 that Martinsburg lead. Looks like Hartman going to take the direct snap. He's got it. Moving to his right, gets hit and taken down. Ricky Barrett on that tackle after a gain of 2 down to the 44 of Martinsburg.
And you're seeing most of the tackles now being made by the Martinsburg linebackers. You hear us calling their names out quite regularly. And, you know, it's not that the guys up front aren't doing anything. They're doing their job. They're taking on blocks and freeing up the linebackers, giving them room to make tackles.
And those guys are sure in their tackling, no doubt about it. Pistol formation with Sebastian Oldham out there as the tailback behind the quarterback. Looking to run some option. Beard coming near side, hit and taken down. Asa Creamer Gaskin, who missed last week's game with an injury, getting some help inside by Ty Lucas as the defensive end and nose guard make the tackle for a loss of a yard.
It's tough to run. It's tough to run options against Martinsburg. You run option against them, you got to be as fast as they are, and we haven't seen anybody all year as fast as this football team, and with the especially the players on the corners that they have defensively. So you really have to make a decision. You got to make one quick.
Well, and everybody held their assignment. You could see Dwayne Grantham come right up and say, I'm taking away the pitch, man.
Yes.
And that left Beard nothing but a chance to cut up field and run right into the arms of other defenders. Beard out of the shotgun, awaiting the snap on this 3rd down and 9. Gives an end around handoff to Hartman. Hartman coming near side, able to get inside the 40 down to about the 36. And depending on the spot, he may have the 1st down.
Very close.
That's a nice run by Hartman, as he was able to elude a tackler that enabled him to pick up another 3 or so yards. Grant Harmon kind of looked like he was given an indication that it is a 1st down, but the officials, I think, are going to call for the sticks to come in from the far sideline. I think he's got it.
I think he has to.
He needed 9, and that looks like exactly what he got. That's going to put Hartman up to 52 yards on 15 carries.
He got a nice block out of here on the corner. I couldn't get the number of who it was, but allowed him to get around there.
And the ball's down to the 36.
Yeah, if not, they're going for it anyways. 4th down. He is a little short.
He is. Look at that. So it will be 4th down and inches, we call it.
Well, obviously they have no choice in this situation. Down 35-0. 2:29 left here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, they were 1 for 3 on 4th down conversions in the 1st half. They will face a 4th down and inches here. 2:29 to play in quarter number 3, and Martinsburg in front 35-0. The Bulldogs looking for their 41st consecutive win, and against these Musselman Applemen, their 20th straight victory. Beard going to line up in the shotgun with Hartman behind him in the pistol formation on this 4th down and inches. He'll await that shotgun snap. He claps the hands. Here it comes. Handoff Hartman. Met in the hole. Falls forward. He'll have the first down. Oh, that was all second effort because that was a great job up inside by the Bulldogs' Ty Lucas to get him around the ankles. But a nice hard run by Blake Hartman to gain a full yard and get the first down.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he actually slid off to the right, and that gave him enough momentum to fall forward for the first down. On a running clock with 2:05 to go, third quarter, 35-0. Martinsburg leads it. Musselman has it 1st and 10 at the Martinsburg 35.
Beard looking for that shotgun snap, has it. He'll follow his blockers off the left side of the line, and Martinsburg again able to bottle him up pretty quickly as he'll get to the line of scrimmage and really nothing more.
Looks like they may give him a yard possibly on this one.
Second down, maybe 9.5.
Half a yard. Okay. Again, you know, Musselman, they've got to do something else. They've got to get the ball to the corners, so they got to throw the ball or something here.
They are very tight in their formation, and now Beard does want to throw in the pocket, collapses, and down he goes back at the 40-yard line. They line up in a tight running formation. Beard taking the snap, started to his left, then kind of backpedaled, and the pocket just collapsed right on top of him. A whole host of Bulldogs in there.
They didn't have enough time on that play, and again, Martinsburg has been penetrating defensively, and that time he just didn't. He was trying to get it out. I wanted to get it to his tight end out there on the far side over there.
Yeah, but just never had the time to set his feet to try to get it to Ethan Wilson. 3rd and 15, a loss of 5 on that sack. I now have 17 carries, -1 yard for Beard, as he's been sacked a couple of times here in this second half. Out of the pistol formation with Oldham behind him. 3 receivers to the right. Beard goes up to the line, barking out some instructions. Down to 23, down to 22 on the game clock. And now there's movement by the Musselman wideout on the near side.
Boy, that's really not going to help. That's another 5-yard penalty. That's going to make it that much tougher to get to the first down. Down to 17.1 seconds ago in the third quarter.
4 penalties, 40 yards now called against the Applemen. And it will bring up 3rd down and 20 now from the 45-yard line in Bulldog territory. 10th play of this possession.
And
again,
that's going to be the last one because Musselman's just going to let it run out.
A good time-consuming possession, but again, no points to show for it. We'll take a 1-minute break. Back with quarter number 4 in this AAA semifinal after this timeout with Martinsburg leading Musselman 35-0.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
W Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population, of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources.
Certainly has helped take us to another level.
Along with Vic Holmes, I'm Matt Miller. Brian Potts on the sidelines. Caleb Valero at the studio running our TV10 coverage. Matt Crawford with our cameraman, Chip Rittenhouse. Heading into quarter number 4. Martinsburg with a 35-0 lead. Musselman football. They'll have the ball at the 45 of Martinsburg. And we are waiting for the chain gang on the far side to move the sticks. This should be a 3rd down and 20 coming up from that Martinsburg 45. And probably 3rd and 4th down as Musselman trailing 35-0 has to make something happen on this possession.
Well, in this situation, if you're Musselman, you get as much as you can get and use 4th down to get the rest.
Beard out of the gun, awaiting that shotgun snap. Two very tight slots as he brings a man in motion. That's Hartman. He'll fake that give to Hartman, and Beard keeps it off this left side of the line. Gains maybe a yard. Brenniger there to help make that tackle. Grantham in on the stop as well. They do give him a yard down to the 44, but that's it, and it brings up a 4th down and 19.
That's just not going to get it.
Not against this Bulldog defense the way that they have been playing today. 18 carries, no yards now for Beard, and Beard is going to drop back and looks like he'll punt it away. Awaiting that snap at his own 45-yard line. He takes the snap and pops it out of there. End-over-end kick heading far side, bouncing at the 14, taking a Musselman roll down inside the 10, down inside the 5, and will be touched dead, it looks like, right at the 1 foot line. So they go ahead and punt it away, and the punt covers just about 43 yards. No return, and Martinsburg will have it deep in their own territory with 10:58 remaining in this one. The Dogs ready to head back to Wheeling Island Stadium for a 3rd straight year. 2nd time that they have done that. On 1st down and 10, Banks out of the gun, 5 yards or so deep in his own end zone. Naeem Kearney to his left side. Trip receivers to the wide side right, a single receiver to the left. Banks has that snap, fakes the handoff. There's the quick slant, and bobbled and dropped by Cello Teneval at the 14-yard line. Had it in his hands. He smacks his hands together as he goes back to the line of scrimmage, knowing he let that one get away.
Yeah, he did. He let that one get away. Had a 1st down, enough yards for the 1st down as well. But 1st down play on the half-yard line, was a wake-up call to the defense. You can't rest on this football team, and they're not going to rest on this 35-point lead.
From inside their own 1-yard line on a 2nd down and 10. Again, trip receivers here to the near side. Handoff going to Naeem Kearney. Met at the goal line. Spun down at the 1. He'll gain about a half a yard at best, and it will bring up a 3rd down and 9.5.
That's a nice call. It really is, because you're kind of expecting the pass play situation, especially after throwing 1st down. So big play coming up here now, 3rd down. Most teams usually hand this off and just go ahead and punt it away, but you may see Martinsburg put it in the air.
Banks has the shotgun snap. Yep, he wants to throw, and he's going to throw deep along this near side, looking for Cello Teneval. No, that's Gerard Bowie who makes the diving attempt out at the 40-yard line, but the pass had a little too much on it. It's incomplete.
Well, it's kind of nice. That ball went to the 40-yard line, and he was about 6 or 7 yards. That's about a 45, 47-yard pass in the air. You'd like to know that your quarterback can lay it out there like that.
He certainly did, and now Trey Sign is on to get a punt away. His feet right at the back of the line. He takes that snap, gets it out of there. Kick may have been partially deflected, and is going to be grabbed by Ethan Walker at about the 27-yard line, coming to the near side. Numbers his feet slip out from underneath of him right at the 20. So the punt only covers about 26 yards as it was deflected by Chris Reinhardt. Then a nice return by Ethan Walker, and with 8:43 left in this one, Musselman with some of their best starting field position.
Well, this obviously 4-down territory in Musselman. They've got to get the ball in the end zone, and it's not only just getting it in the end zone. You got to get it in there as quickly as possible. You're still fighting to win this football game. It's still not impossible. It's 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Still a long time to go in this football game.
From the 20 of Martinsburg, Hartman in motion towards the far side. Beard going to keep it. He started right, finds a cutback lane to his left, spins off a couple of tackles at the 15-yard line down the middle of the field, gets down to the 5, 15 yards on that gain for Trey Beard. It's 1st and goal coming.
Good determined run that time by Beard.
Second play of this drive, 1st and goal from the 5. Beard now up to 15 yards on 19 carries. Clock continues to wind. We're in that continual running clock now in this 4th quarter with the Dogs up 35-0. Beard with an empty backfield takes the snap, moving to his left, looks for a lane. There is none. He will gain at least 1 yard down to the 4. Second down, goal to go coming as the Applemen try to get on the scoreboard in this one. From that 4, second down and goal to go. They'll break the huddle, send 2 wideouts to the far side. Sebastian Oldham, a very tight slot. Pistol formation, Blake Hartman behind the quarterback. Beard slaps the hands together, takes the snap, hands to Hartman, bounces to his right, and then gets spun around by a host of Bulldog defenders, and they hold him right there at the 2-yard line. So Hartman down to the 2, where it will bring up a third down and goal to go. Well, they were down here once before at the very beginning of the game and did not get in. Trying so hard to get an opportunity to score here, and we'll have timeout taken by that Martinsburg defense. Vic, let's keep it here and remind listeners to stay with us. We're going to have a brief post-game as we'll wrap this one up. Everything will be done from here at the field, and then we'll send it back into what looks like some regular programming. Looks like we will get back into some NBC sports programming for a brief time, but then at 4:30, the pregame begins. 3.5 hours of it to get you ready for that 8 o'clock kick tonight with Oklahoma in Morgantown to face the Mountaineers. Can't wait.
Can't wait. I can wait until 8 o'clock, until kickoff. I can pass all that.
Looking forward to it, though. Mountaineers have to have this one. Hey, they've played exceptionally well at home this season. If any team can do it, I think this is the team that can get that win against Oklahoma.
I think they can. I think, and this is the year to do it. I think because of the fact they are at home, for some strange reason, they can't win too many of the big games on the road. They did beat Texas on the road. Got to give them credit there, but they need this one.
Out of the timeout, third down, goal to go from the 2-yard line, Musselman football. Beard with an empty backfield, awaiting that shotgun snap. He's got it, wants to keep it off the right side, gets to that 1-yard line. Did he get in? Yes, he's in for the Musselman Appleman touchdown. Got met at the 1-yard line, kept the legs churning, kind of slid a little bit to his right, and Musselman is on the scoreboard.
Well, I'll tell you what, for 2 occasions, you get beat 70-0, and then you're in this ball game, and you're in the fourth quarter, it's 35-0. That's a big relief just to get on the scoreboard for Musselman in this ball game. They've worked hard to get that score, and I think they got a break with the bad punt. But there again, it seemed to me you've got to find something to be able to get you there a little bit quicker if you want to win the football game.
Luke Barger for the extra point, snap placement kick, and let's see, we had a little extracurriculars at the end of the play. And the extra point up and good, and we'll have no type of penalty as the teams now head back to their respective sidelines. We'll take a 30-second break, then return to Coburn Field. 6:16 remaining in this one, and Martinsburg out in front, 35-7.
We all know what a good time looks like, but what is it made of? We can think of a few things. In this case, it's handcrafted food to gather around, an ever-changing variety of wine, and a Friday night. Do yourself a favor. Experience the good in a good time.
Yards took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. A 2-yard touchdown run for Trey Beard, his 15th rushing touchdown of the season. Extra point up and good for Luke Barger. And it's 35-7. Martinsburg with the lead as Barger will approach. And the kick is away. Popped up along that far side. And the catch is made on a fair catch as Trey Sign grabbed it while dropping to a knee. Martinsburg will have it at their own 38.
What I don't understand here, it's 35-7. You've got 5:56 to go in the ball game, and you pooch kick. What's wrong with the onside kick? Try to get the football back.
From their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10 Bulldogs. Starting quarterback, it'll be, Grant Harmon back out there. That's what I was thinking. Harmon at quarterback will have Dwayne Grantham to his left side. 3 receivers here to this right side. Handoff going to Dwayne Grantham. Gets an opening up the middle of the field. Slips a tackle to the midfield stripe. Cuts to his left. He's to the 45. A blocker in front to the far side. 30 down the sideline to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone for the Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. Dwayne Grantham covers 62 yards for the score.
Hey, Musselman worked as hard as they did to finally get in the end zone, get a score. And Martinsburg come back on one play and boom, 62 yards, touchdown. That's really deflating.
Yes, 18 yards on 4 carries prior for Dwayne Grantham. This one covers 62 yards and the score as Dwayne Grantham picks up his 11th rushing touchdown on the season. Snap a little behind Trenton Sherman, who grabs it, gets the hold down, and Chris Catlett adds the PAT through. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left in this one. We'll take a 60-second break with Martinsburg now leading 42-7.
To see the inspirations of Miss Yu's tuxedo collection, look to the sky and stars. For the jewelry itself, come to Bechtel Jewelers for the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th. These playful pieces are a wonderland of sparkly blacks and whites, plus other festive colors. Gems like shimmering black druzy, onyx, and ice quartz adorn silver and gold. Enjoy sophisticated everyday elegance at the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th, and let your inner sparkle shine. Only at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
Blake Hartman grabbing the ensuing kickoff along the near side at about the 20 and puts together a nice return of about, 7 or 8 yards. And Musselman will have the football at their own 28-yard line. Drive summary for Martinsburg. 1 play, 62 yards, 24 seconds. Dwayne Grantham goes 62 for the score. And the Bulldog lead is at 42-7. That clock continues to wind. 4:52 and counting in this one from their own 28. 1st and 10. The fake handoff to Odom coming to his left, and the give to Hartman going to his right. He cuts upfield to the 29, a gain of just a yard.
Barrett on the tackle again, leading the way. Running clock, 4 minutes, 25 seconds remaining, 42-7 Martinsburg. Obviously, is going to win this football game. It's going to be going back to Wheeling Island Stadium for, looks like an apparent matchup with Spring Valley.
Well, Spring Valley now with a 49-7 lead over Capital, just getting that word. So, yep, it'll be a rematch for a 3rd straight year in the state title game. Beard wanting to throw, the pocket collapsing, and as he steps up in the pocket, he's hit and taken down, and that should be Bednarski. That's a 5-8 on that tackle.
Yeah, Bednarski's had a good ball game. That whole defensive front has had a good ball game. They've been run at and pushed around, and a lot of double team blocks and a lot of misdirection option. These guys have done a real nice job.
3rd down, about 15 yards to go for a first, as they are now back at their own about 23-yard line. On 3rd and long, Odom moves into the backfield to set up in a pistol formation behind Beard. He will fake the handoff to Odom. Beard keeping it around the right side, gets to the far side numbers, hit and taken down just shy of the 35.
It's going to bring up a 4th down situation. Obviously, they have to go for it. 4th down and a long 3. 3 minutes remaining in the football game.
They are 2 of 4 on 3rd down conversions prior to this opportunity. On 4th down and about 3. Beard with an empty backfield brings Hartman in motion to that far side. He awaits the snap, barks out signals, trying to get Martinsburg to jump. They didn't. And now Beard starts walking to that far sideline, and head coach Brian Thomas will call for a timeout. 2:36 remaining in this one. We'll keep it right here. Vic, just some of the numbers. a win today for Martinsburg. That's 114 wins, just 7 losses in 121 games since the beginning of the 2010 season. They will improve to 81 wins in their last 83 games here at home. They will improve to 81 wins in their last 83 games against a West Virginia opponent, with the only 2 losses in the playoffs at Capital. It'll be their 58th win in a row here at home, including their 28th consecutive playoff victory here at home. Win number 20 in a row against Musselman, and win number 41 in a row overall, sending them back to the state championship game for a 3rd consecutive year, for a 2nd time since 2010. When they won 4 in a row in 2010, 11, 12, and 13. And for the Bulldogs, the numbers just continue to go on and on.
They certainly do. And I've mentioned this before. We're talking dynasty numbers.
On 4th down and 3, out of the timeout, there is the direct snap to the quarterback. That's Beard, who gets an opening right up the middle of the field, slips through a tackle near the midfield stripe. He's off to the races, down the far sideline to the 10, to the 5, dives for the pylon. Let's see, did he step out of bounds or not? No, he's in. It's a Musselman touchdown. Oh, you gotta love it, as Beard able to take that one 65 yards for the score. Nice job by the senior on a 4th down and 3.
Well, that's a real big play for him, as personally being his last football game. And does that do any good for anybody? Yes, it does a lot of good for him, a lot of good for the football team. You want to try to end up as positive as possible. 42-13, extra point coming up.
Great efforts to be able to get to that pylon and get the score. Extra point attempt, it is up, and it is through. 89 yards rushing now on 24 carries with that 65-yard touchdown run for Trey Beard. Let's take a 30-second break, and then we'll be back with Martinsburg leading Musselman 42-14.
Whether you need business cards, banners, magnets, office stationery, or perma material, Panhandle Printing and Design can make it happen. Call 304-267-7400 for a quote, or visit us on the web at panhandleprintdesign.com.
Day in his 16th of the season, the Martinsburg lead now cut to 42-14. Ensuing kickoff, headed to that far side, going to bounce it about the 24 and then stay inbounds down the sideline, eventually grabbed by Chilo Teneval, who gets taken down by Blake Hartman. It looks like back at the 5-yard line. Teneval kept waiting for that ball to take the awkward bounce out of bounds, but that ball with points on it had other ideas. It stayed in bounds.
Well, here's a late flag just being thrown. One of the Musselman coaches out on the field, and he just got a unsportsmanlike conduct call, and some of his other coaches are escorting him off the field, and here goes a second flag being thrown on the Musselman players on the field.
Now a timeout being taken. Brian Thomas trying to get all of his team and everybody together on the sideline and settle everything down.
You don't want to lose it at this point. Okay, you're losing the football game. Okay, that's fine. And I don't know what the rhubarb was with the coach, because he got a 15-yarder. Here's the second 15-yarder being marked off against the Musselman players. I mean, now Musselman now is taking the timeout. It's a 42-14 ball game. The ball was just kicked, and it went picked up by a player. And I don't know what, we can't have any idea what transpired during that period of time, but not a good time, not a good situation.
No, not at all. Head coach David Walker out talking with one of our officials. calling some of his offensive players to himself as well. It's the skill kids that are on the side. The line is at the football. And I think it's an opportunity just to kind of settle everybody down, say, fellas, let's play football and wrap this one up.
Yeah, we got a minute 57 seconds to go in the football game. Let's keep it at a football game. And we, again, being this far away, we have no idea. But the coach was out on the field, one of the assistant coaches is out on the field, and he got the 15. You're not supposed to be out there, not even the head coach. You got the 15-yard for that. And then I guess he obviously heard something and threw it right at the Musselman huddle, their players. So you don't want to finish your year up like that.
No, and especially a great year. I mean, you're talking 11 wins and 2 losses. You're back to the semifinals for the first time since 1999. 11 wins for the first time since 1999.
11 wins. You've lost 2 ball games, and both of them to the team's going to be in the finals and may win it all again.
First down and 10. Elijah Banks is out there at quarterback. He's going to line up under center. He's going to take a knee and allow the time to start running. Brian Thomas off the sideline, shaking hands with Cello Teneval on that far side, and now heads back to the sideline as the clock continues to wind.
Yeah, this is the time where you let it go. It's over. It's done. You let the time run out and say, hey, the better man won, and let's leave it at that.
Second down and 11 from the 34. As Martinsburg will again look to take a knee and let that clock continue to wind. Banks awaiting the snap. Remember, the play clocks are not functioning right now, so he may wait until it's a delay. Nope, he does take that snap. Again, drops to a knee.
If the official will take his time in setting this one will be over. He hasn't set it yet. We have 30. They still haven't set it. Still haven't set it. 24 seconds. Now the ball has been set. Now you do not have to run another play. It's
there
over.
It is. The two teams will begin to shake hands as they will meet along the midfield stripe, as Martinsburg will get the victory by the final score of 42-14, and Martinsburg will remain undefeated and head to the state championship game for a third straight season, and it looks like for a third straight year they will tangle with the Spring Valley Timberwolves. We'll give you an update on the score from that game as we come back. We'll also go down to the field where Brian Potts will be standing by with head coach David Walker, maybe a player or two. We'll quickly recap the scoring, have some analysis, name our player of the game, and set you up for next week's championship. All coming on the postgame show, brought to you by WVU Medicine, Berkeley, and Jefferson Medical Centers, the best in healthcare close to home. You're listening to West Virginia High School football on Talk Radio WRNR, watching on TV 10. We remind you again the final, Martinsburg 42, Musselman 14, back after this 2-minute break.
If you're not progressing in healthcare, you're falling behind.
WVU Medicine has planted itself here, and they're the first university that I've found who wants to take ownership of this population, of Western Maryland, Southern Pennsylvania, Eastern Ohio, and the good people of West Virginia. And it's really refreshing to see.
I was able to do things that the patients were going away for, which is good for the patients, and it's good for us because we have more resources.
Certainly has helped take us to another level.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%. Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
To see the inspirations of Mishu's tuxedo collection, look to the sky and stars. For the jewelry itself, come to Bechtel Jewelers for the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th. These playful pieces are a wonderland of sparkly blacks and whites, plus other festive colors. Gems like shimmering black druzy, onyx, and ice quartz adorn silver and gold. Enjoy sophisticated everyday elegance at the Trunk Show, November 23rd and 24th, and let your inner sparkle shine. Only at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
We welcome you back in to Coburn Field, where the Martinsburg Bulldogs have defeated the Musselman Applemen in their State Class AAA semifinal. 42-14 the final. Along with Vic Holmes, I'm Matt Miller. Down on the sideline, Brian Potts. Back at the studio, Caleb Falero. Matt Crawford running our TV10 coverage, and Chip Rittenhouse controlling the camera. Well, the Martinsburg players seeming to begin to break from their huddle, and as they do, we'll send it down to Brian, and he'll grab a head coach David Walker, maybe a player or two before that huddle breaks. Vic, Martinsburg did just what they needed to do here today. Another strong defensive effort. While it may have taken a little time here and there, they got the big plays and the offensive production that you would expect out of this team, and they go on for the victory.
Well, yeah, it's one of the things I said in the pregame is Martinsburg, just be Martinsburg and do what you do, and that's what they did. They didn't do anything, extraordinary or anything of that nature. They just did what they normally do and take what was given to them. And what was given to them here offensively was, to run the football, and then throw some short ones here and see if we can break one. Musselman did a good job of containing that, as I thought, with the short passes, the short quick screens and so forth. But then Martinsburg pecked away, hit a couple of big ones over top, and got themselves ahead and kept the pressure on the whole ball game. So, again, I think Martinsburg did what they have done all year long.
And that is pick up yet another victory, as they will improve now to 13 wins, 0 losses on the season, heading back to Wheeling Island Stadium as the Bulldogs will, it looks like, once again take on Spring Valley in that state championship game. Well, I know Brian is looking to get a hold of Coach Walker down there, but it looks like he does have at least a player or two around him. So, Brian, I'll go ahead and send it down to you. Tell us who you're talking with.
Well, I have Mr. Dwayne Grantham here and Grant Harmon, and first of all, I want to congratulate you guys getting ready to go back to Wheeling again. And what I look at from both you guys and the whole program here is always the consistency of the Martinsburg High School football program. I'll let each one of you say just a few words here.
I mean, it's very great going back to Wheeling for my third. This is going to be my third year. It's great bonding with my family, my team, and it's just great. We came out here, did what we were supposed to do, executed on both sides of the ball, and now we're back to where we really belong.
Yeah, we came out here today, did what we were supposed to do, beat a great Musselman team. I mean, we've battled hard all year. We've come a long way. We've had people doubting us in the beginning from the start. We lost a lot of players last year. We've had players step up that honestly people didn't think we were going to be able to step up, and I couldn't be proud of the team that we have right now. Just the players and the heart that we have, and to be able to go down to Wheeling and get that third straight ring, it's just something special.
Well, we have another player joined us here. I asked Ricky Barrett to step over, and Ricky and Dwayne and Grant, you guys, what I noticed with you guys, you all play with heart. It's a thing of, pride. You got back on the field after an injury, Dwayne. You look at Ricky out here, he's giving it all the time. Grant's playing both sides of the ball. Ricky, I seen you a little giddy down there on the sideline right before you went in there at the lining up at a running back. I thought, he's thinking maybe he's going to get that ball. And you were excited about that.
Yeah, I was excited about it. I've been fighting an injury in my calf this whole game, so I was just trying to go out there and do.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you guys. And, again, it's a tribute to the program because of the consistency, the hard work. The people that don't know, I know you guys start 2 weeks right after the break at Christmas time, and you got great senior leadership here with you three guys. And, again, congratulations, and go get another state championship. Thank each one of you. Thank you. And I'll try to reach Coach Walker here for you, Matt. I think he's had some family members there with him and some media, so.
All right, Brian making his way over to talk with head coach David Walker. Good to hear from three seniors, three key leaders on this Martinsburg team as the Bulldogs get ready to make their way back to Wheeling Island Stadium. Brian working his way over. Let's see if we get a chance to check in with the coach. I believe we may get that opportunity right now. Brian, take it away.
Sure. Coach Walker, congratulations on two fronts here. You're getting to go back to Wheeling again, and congratulations on the coaching victories that you've accomplished over the last few years, you say?
It's my 31st year, so I've just been doing it a long time.
You know, tonight's ball game, or this afternoon's ball game, I thought Musselman came out, played hard. Your defense, was pretty they were tough all day long. They took you out of some tough positions there on that kickoff early in the first quarter, and then they just seemed like they settled down and really took control of the game for you.
Yeah, I mean, you beat a team 70-0 a month ago, and it's you can't hardly expect to come out and do the same thing. So, I thought offensively, we played well. I thought defensively we played really well. We gave up a couple plays here and there, but I don't think emotionally we were where we needed to be at the beginning of the game, but I thought our kids held together pretty well. And give credit to Musselman. Their kids played hard. He's got a really good group. Coach Thomas does a great job, and I was glad there was two Panhandle teams here playing today.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying. Last week we had 3 teams in. This year we had 4 teams in the playoff. Going back to you and the kids and stuff, I just talked to Grant and Dwayne and Ricky. You got some leadership there. It's hard to lose some senior leadership, but every year it seems like those guys come back. You guys always seem to have the consistency there. And another thing, it's a tribute to you, and I think people out there probably don't recognize it as much, but your coaching staff that you've held together for quite a while, when you have that consistency, the kids know what to expect, and of course, you come back every year knowing the guys that you've got under that control. That's pretty remarkable.
Well, I think one of the things you have to get the kids to do, you got to get the kids to buy into what you're doing, and you got to be unselfish. And I know every kid. We got a lot of kids that like to have the football every down, but we try to distribute the best we can. But we try to preach about being unselfish and putting the team ahead of yourself. And as far as our coaches, I'm surrounded by some great people, and most of them played for me, so they've been around a long time, and they just do a great job. They stay on our kids. For me personally, I've been doing it a long time. I may not be the same coach I was 10, 15 years ago because I don't move quite as fast. But I'm just surrounded by great people and still enjoy what I'm doing.
When you notice all the time that whenever somebody plays in the Martinsburg football program, there's a love for the game. They get out here with the attitude, we're out here to have fun. We want to win, but the work that goes with it, and then it's just the consistency of that family, and I think that's a tribute to you and, again, the coaching staff that you've had in place for quite a few years.
Well, yeah, and the standards are raised so high here, and, there's really big expectations. And our kids work to prepare, and we're blessed with really good kids that do a good job, that buy into our program, and I think our staff, our guys, do a good job of developing players. I think we have a lot of kids that come, that start out in our program that you don't know if they're going to be really good or not, and they work hard and they put the time in, and good things happen for them.
Well, it sounds like, from what I understand there a while ago, that Spring Valley was up pretty good on Capital, so it seems like another chance, or they're going to get another shot at you, and that'll be their third time. So, do you know much about them at this time, or you just kind of put them back?
Well, they got a lot of kids coming back, and we've played them the last 2 years, so we're familiar with them. They're just huge. They look like a small college team, and they've got 3 or 4 Division I kids, so it'll be a big challenge for us. And I know they'll be really excited to have another shot at us. So hopefully, we have a great week of practice and prepare well and see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully the weather this week can actually gives us a little bit of a break so you can get out on the field. I know the last couple of weeks have been tough for you to try to get out to practice and stuff, but congratulations on the season. Wonderful season. Congratulations to Musselman on their wonderful season. Hedgesville and Spring Mills all getting into the playoffs, but again, to you, your staff, and everyone here at Martinsburg High School, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Take it away, Matt.
All right, Brian Potts talking with Martinsburg head coach David Walker. For Coach Walker, win number 289 in his high school coaching career against just 85 losses. Now 233 wins and 44 losses here at Martinsburg. 46-14 in 21 consecutive playoff appearances, and that is now 30 wins in the last 32 playoff games for these Martinsburg Bulldogs, headed back to Wheeling Island Stadium for a third consecutive year.
Well, as I said before, this is we've reached uncharted territory here, and these are almost again like monopoly money we're dealing with here or something. But just a phenomenal record. The athletes, the production that these athletes have put out there, and these guys don't get there unless they have the great leadership, and we've talked about that before. We've talked about the direction that he's got these guys going in. You've got the younger guys that, I know a lot of people was going to and did question this football team this year because of the amount of talent that was lost last year due to graduation. But there again, good coaching and also a good program brought along these guys, and they've stepped up and become, a top 1-2 team in the state of West Virginia. So congratulations to the coaching staff and Coach Walker, and congratulations to the players. These guys, they go back and think about the 1st of August and all that heat out there, and working hard and getting themselves prepared, and even before that, going back to the weightlifting and conditioning that goes on in the off season. All this is, when it's all said and done and you're going into the state finals, it's all worth it.
Well, let's take a 1-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll recap the scoring from this one, get a little more analysis, and then we'll take another break before we come back to run some numbers and name our player of the game. This is the Postgame Show, brought to you by WVU Medicine Berkeley and Jefferson Medical Centers, the best in healthcare close to home. Final today in this semifinal from Coburn Field. It is Martinsburg 42 and Musselman 14.
With 4 new car dealerships and 4 used car dealerships in 3 states, Parsons is the largest used car and fastest growing new car dealer in the tri-state area. Take Parsons Ford with huge savings on hundreds of new Fords, financing from 0%, Parsons' goal of financing for all, and Parsons' famous above-market trade-in allowances that help make Parsons #1 for used cars too. See why so many won't buy anywhere but Parsons Ford in Martinsburg. We became #1 by making you #1 first. Parsons.
Welcome back again to Coburn Field. Let's recap the scoring in this one as we look back to a 42-14 win for Martinsburg. The Bulldogs put the first points on the board at 3:26 to play in quarter number 1. A 47-yard touchdown run for Naeem Kearney. Extra point up and good for Chris Catlett. 7-0 Martinsburg, and that would be the score heading into quarter number 2 with 4:24 to play in the first half. A 60-yard touchdown pass from Grant Harmon to Michael Boite made it 14-0 Martinsburg as Catlett again added the PAT, and with 46 seconds left in the half, Grant Harmon went in from 4 yards out, and Martinsburg led 21-0 at the intermission. In quarter number 3, the Bulldogs took the opening possession of the second half, marched 58 yards in 8 plays, got a 6-yard touchdown run for Grant Harmon, and the Dogs led 28-0. Then with 5:46, if I get my numbers in the right order, 5:46 to play in the third quarter, it was a 3-yard touchdown plunge for Ricky Barrett, the regular linebacker, getting a chance to carry the football. He punches it in to cap a 3-play, 18-yard drive. That came after a fumble that set up Martinsburg in that great field position, and the Bulldogs led 35-0, and that would be the score going into quarter number 4. In the fourth quarter, Trey Beard scored on a 2-yard run on a 3rd and goal from the 2. That capped a 4-play, 20-yard drive for Musselman, got them on the scoreboard trailing 35-7. But Martinsburg on their next possession, a 62-yard touchdown run on the only play of that possession. That came from Dwayne Grantham, and that gave Martinsburg a 42-7 lead with 5:20 to play. Musselman capped the scoring with 2:10 left on a 4th and 3 from their own 35. Trey Beard busts up the middle, cuts to the far sideline, and scores from 65 yards out, and there is your final. 42-14, Martinsburg gets the win. So the Bulldogs advance to the state championship game for a 3rd straight year. Musselman, tough way to see their season come to a close. They'll finish at 11 wins, 2 losses. Those 2 touchdowns late, as you mentioned, Vic, as those were occurring, those are big plays for these players and for this team.
Well, sure it is. That's lessens the sour taste in your mouth after losing to Martinsburg again. They lost to a better team, and I don't think there's any question about that. Martinsburg is a better football team. They outplayed them, and so the bottom line in that situation is that, they were able to score. First of all, they didn't get shut out, number one. Number two, they battled, and they played all the way down to the last play. And that's one of the good things that we saw there, that it's a long season. And like I said, you go back to August, in that hot, warm, and dusty climate that you have to deal with, and then you end up playing in 20-degree temperature to end the season. But it's a long season, but these guys wouldn't trade it for a thing. After having this type of season. And congratulations also to Musselman, as we said, to Hedgesville for getting into the playoffs and winning the game in the playoffs. And you got to give a lot of credit to Spring Mills. Here's a young school who's just developing and getting into the playoffs again this year. So it was a good year for the Eastern Panhandle completely as far as football is concerned.
Well, let's go ahead and break down some of the numbers from this one as we get ready to take another break here in just a moment. Let's start with Musselman. We had 30 plays, 57 yards in the first half. In the second half, 21 plays, 105 additional yards, so 162 yards on 51 plays, 153 rushing yards, and 9 passing yards. They were just 3 of 13 on third down conversions, 3 of 5 on fourth down conversions. Individually, Trey Beard, 24 carries for 89 yards, and that included the 65-yard touchdown run and a 2-yard touchdown scamper. 18 carries, 56 yards for Blake Hartman. Throwing the football, Trey Beard in the first half, 3 of 6 for 9 yards. Vic, not a single pass attempt in that second half.
Well, you're not going to win football games that way, especially when you're down, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and that was the problem. I don't know if that was their intent, was to just try to run the football and run that clock as well. But if you're not getting in the end zone or you're behind in the ball game, you got to change course. You got to put it in the air. And maybe you were throwing an interception or 2 or what have you, but I think you took away your chances of winning when you didn't put it in the air.
Let's look at Martinsburg's numbers. 22 plays in the first half, 201 yards. In the second half, 17 plays, 119 yards. That's 39 total plays for 320 yards, 172 on the ground, 148 through the air. The Dogs, 5 of 7 on third down conversions, did not attempt a fourth down in this game. Looking at just some of the individual numbers, we would have Grant Harmon completing 6 of 10 passes for 138 yards, including a touchdown pass. Also, Harmon carrying the football today, 8 carries for 31 yards and found the end zone twice. Naeem Kearney with a 47-yard touchdown run will finish the day with 4 carries for 67 yards, and Dwayne Grantham 5 carries for 80 yards, including a 62-yard score. Elijah Banks throwing the football, 2 of 5 passing for 10 yards, and Banks had a carry for 7 yards as well. Martinsburg gets the win by the final of 42-14. 6-14. One final timeout. Then we're back in 1 minute, and we wrap it up today here from Coburn Field as we will name our player of the game and set you up for what comes next as the Bulldogs head off to the state championship game. It will be Spring Valley. We'll tell you how that game's playing out when we come back. It's West Virginia High School playoff football on Talk Radio, WRNR, and TV 10. Seven more seconds. Back on final time here at Coburn Field as we put the finishing touches on the WVU Medicine, Berkeley, and Jefferson Medical Center postgame show. Vic, let's start by naming a player of the game. Have you even thought about it the way that this one has played out? We'll get Brian's thoughts in here as well.
The way it played out to me, I did not that I didn't see one, but I can't identify one. I think today you win a football game that puts you in the state finals next week for the championship. My most valuable player is the entire team and coaching staff and everyone involved. I mean, this is the big game. There wasn't one incident, one play, one situation in which one player stood out to me. I think it was a great concerted effort by everybody, and you could tell they were well prepared. I don't think there was anything that Musselman threw out there that they weren't ready for and prepared for, and I think everybody pretty much did their job today, and it wasn't like if it wasn't for this play or wasn't for that play, they wouldn't have won or did win because of this play or that play. I just thought it was just a great job of preparation and coming together and getting the job done.
Brian, we'll get your thoughts.
I have to agree 100%. It looked like a total program here, total team effort, coaching staff, everyone involved. It took everybody today because Musselman gave it the best shot. It looked like two heavyweights slugging it out there early, and then seemed to Martinsburg settle down and got a little rhythm on offense, but I have to agree 100%. It took all phases of the ball there, and, for a team to go back to the state championship again, it's a compliment to the program.
All right, so there you go. We'll give it to the team as a whole, but I'm going to let the trophy bearer be Grant Harmon. Number one, you just look at what he's done all season long as a senior quarterback, but he also goes in for a couple of rushing touchdowns, has the long passing touchdown as well, and sometimes we miss what he does defensively as a free safety out there roaming around and making plays. So, again, congratulations to him and the entire team getting the win here today. It is official. It will be Spring Valley. It has now gone final as Spring Valley improves to 13-0, beating Capital today 56-14. Spring Valley and Martinsburg have kind of been on a course of destiny, if you will, to meet one another once again at Wheeling Island Stadium, and that is exactly what we'll get next week.
Well, as I say, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So the two best are going to meet each other in Wheeling Island Stadium again next week, and good luck to the Bulldogs, and they'll fare well, and it'll be a real interesting contest. Just hopefully that they'll be able to make the plays that need to be made, and going against a huge offensive and defensive line of that Spring Valley group should be interesting.
Kickoff next Saturday from Wheeling Island Stadium. We'll be at 12 noon, Martinsburg and Spring Valley for a third straight year meeting for the state championship. Well, that wraps up our coverage of Martinsburg High School football throughout the regular season and the postseason as WV Metro News out of Morgantown takes over for the championship. Thanks to each of our sponsors supporting our coverage throughout the course of the season. We thank you for joining us each week for the broadcast. Thanks to all of the coaches and athletic directors for all of their help and support. And thanks today to all the folks here at Coburn Field for their support and hospitality with our broadcast coverage. Thanks goes out to Chip Rittenhouse, our TV10 cameraman, Matt Crawford running the TV10 program, Caleb Falero at the studio. Thanks for Brian Potts filling in for Jason Colrick on the sideline today. For Vic Holmes, I'm Matt Miller, reminding you to stay with us. Just about a half an hour from now, the pregame gets underway at 4:30, leading up to the 8 o'clock kickoff for the Mountaineers in Oklahoma. We understand Texas got a win against Kansas earlier, so the Longhorns are already guaranteed a spot in that Big 12 championship game. Will they face Oklahoma, a team they beat by 3 in the regular season, or will they face the West Virginia Mountaineers, a team they lost to on a late 2-point conversion in the regular season? We'll find out, because West Virginia has to beat Oklahoma. The winner of that game tonight will join Texas in the Big 12 championship. Let's go Mountaineers. You'll hear it right here on Talk Radio WRNR. All right, we remind you our final today. It is Martinsburg 42 and Musselman 14. Until next time, so long, everyone. Good job. Go get warm.
Let's go. And that concludes today's postgame show. Today's game has been brought to you by
the Berkeley County Health Department, Anthony's Pizza in Inwood and Spring Mills, the Marius Group and Ameriprise Financial, Bechtel Jewelers on Route 11 South in Inwood, Brown's Funeral Home and Cremations, WVU Medicine, Berkeley Medical Center and Jefferson Medical Center, the best in healthcare close to home, and by Parsons Ford.
For the best in high school, college, and NFL coverage all season long, keep it tuned in to Talk Radio WRNR Martinsburg. All rights reserved. WNBC Sports Radio Update starts now.
Well, this is college football, and teams score so fast we can barely keep up. Last time we checked, it was 31-31. Houston and Memphis on the last update. Memphis has scored 3 touchdowns since then. It's now 52-31 Memphis. 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and if they hold on here, which it looks like they will, they'll be playing in the American Championship game against Central Florida. Kansas, now it's 24-14 against Texas. Minute 42 seconds left, and Kansas is on the Texas 27. Can they score and get an onside kick and pull off a miracle? Central Florida and South Florida coming up at 1:15 Pacific, 4:15 Eastern Time in a huge matchup for the Golden Knights trying to keep an undefeated season going. Oklahoma.
America's #1 show on pop culture and politics. This is the Michael Medved Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. A great day to face the great question. What is it that is so fascinating about Theodore Roosevelt? Why is he, next to Lincoln, the one president whose image is most vivid for people today? It's 100 years after his death in 1919. And yet, he's with us. And I would submit that part of the reason for that is because he remains incurably youthful, optimistic, dynamic, and purposeful, very much like the country he loved and served. In fact, he remains Theodore Roosevelt, the all-American boy.